Last year's game is on their minds, as he told us. Hopefully they learn from it. On the opening kick, Baltimore won the toss and has deferred to the second half. So Tucker kicking it off, and it will be a touchback with San Diego getting it at the 20-yard line. Philip Rivers in action today for a team that has been used to winning over the years, now under 500.
And he's excited about his new wide receiver, Danario Alexander, number 84. Feels confident just laying it up there sometimes for the 6'5" Alexander, but it's a run after the catch that excites Rivers. The 80-yarder against Tampa was on a short slant route.
In that last meeting last year, he had 270 yards and a touchdown. His 107th straight start and a penalty.
Offense, number 84, 5-yard penalty. First down.
And you mentioned Alexander. Not the way that he wants to be mentioned on the first play from scrimmage.
And that's not my fault, is it?
Well, you know the power of the microphone, Dan.
I didn't know it reached all the way down to the field on the very first play. Horrible start for San Diego.
Alexander is a tremendous story, though, coming over from St. Louis after being released following injuries. Had 5 surgeries to his left knee, a former star at Missouri. So first and 15, first play for San Diego. Rivers on a toss for Matthews, getting to the outside. Ryan Matthews. And Reed there to angle him out of bounds, a 9-yard pickup. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. Rex Hadnot is in for Tyrone Green. Green sitting this one out with a hamstring injury on the left side of the line. Also, former Raven Jared Gaither now on IR, so Mike Harris is the full-time starter at left tackle. Backs and receivers, there is Alexander. Philip Rivers giving him the ultimate compliment. He's only been with the team a month, and Rivers says he's the best, most fluid route runner he has ever played with.
That's saying something, too, if you consider the receivers that Rivers has had.
On a stutter step move by Matthews, they push the pile out near the 30-yard line, just short of a first down. He picks up 5 yards, and they're about a yard shy from moving the chains. Defensively for Baltimore, no Pernell McPhee once again sitting it out with a thigh injury, so Arthur Jones gets the start at defensive end. Linebacking crew have to give them a lot of credit. These are not the biggest names in the NFL other than Terrell Suggs, but Dannell Ellerbe has helped lead this group of linebackers. He's having a terrific season. And in the secondary, Corey Graham. He was a special team star in Chicago and now a standout in that secondary with the injuries to Ladarius Webb out for the year and Jimmy Smith sitting this one out with an abdomen injury. Flags down. Rivers looking to throw the ball deep. Think he's got a free play. Rivers incomplete. Malcolm Floyd lunging. Looks like offside is going to be the call, and that's why Rivers tried to take advantage with Reed and Williams back there, and Reed a little bit slow to get up.
It was
offside.
Nata.
Defense, number 92. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
The great thing that Rivers did is he recognized that he had a free play here. Here's Nato. He's going to jump into the neutral zone here, try and get back. But Rivers with that hard count there. And after the play fake, he told Floyd to just go deep. And he almost came up with it, except Reed, as he usually does, comes over and knocks it away.
So they move the chains. First and 10, just short of the 35-yard line for San Diego. Matthews trying to run off tackle. There's nothing there. Picks up a gain of 1.5 yards, 2. Dannell Ellerbe will get credit for the stop for Baltimore.
And it's the offensive line that's really been the culprit, I guess, if you will, with the Chargers having so much difficulties as of late. We think back of the left side of their offensive line in the past, Marcus McNeil and Chris Dielman, they're both gone now, and it's been a committee of players that just trying to stay healthy. Gaither is out on IR. Mike Harris replaces him, the rookie out of UCLA at left tackle.
Chargers have no wins this season against teams that are currently 500 or better. Taking on an 8-2 squad at Baltimore. And a toss to the outside, trying to get Matthews out in space. It's a 4-yard pickup. Cary Williams out on the perimeter for Baltimore. Philip Rivers, in his career against the Baltimore Ravens, averaging 285 yards per game, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. In the first quarter this season, Dan, Philip Rivers, 8 touchdowns, no picks. In the fourth quarter, 3 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Chargers have not been finishing games strong.
No, they haven't. And Rivers, not the same quarterback as he's been in the past because he's been forced to run out of the pocket too many times.
Not nearly as effective when he's forced into those situations. A 3rd and 4 now. All of these plays have been to Matthews. Rivers in trouble, and he is dumped. Paul Kruger is really coming on for this Baltimore defense. High motor, and Kruger with the sack. Loss of 5 on the play. Kruger now his 4th sack over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, make it 5.5 now on the season for Kruger. Kruger right down here. Watch as he almost jumps into the neutral zone and then gets by Clary, pushes Clary all the way back to Rivers. Clary has got to be stronger at the point of attack there with Kruger.
Jacoby Jones, a touchdown off a punt return last week in the win over Pittsburgh. The return man here off the Cypress punt. Jones bottled up, loses the football at the end of the play, and the officials will rule him down. Fans will react, but it's no touchdown. Stuckey on the recovery, 62-yard punt, a 9-yard return.
Is that the runner was down by contact. First down, Baltimore. Timeout.
So the Ravens will hold on to it. Jones trying to make something happen deep in his own territory and clearly down when the ball was popped loose. Ravens on offense when we come back to San Diego. First play from scrimmage for the Baltimore Ravens on offense, and a blast up the middle for Ray Rice coming off a 20-carry, 40-yard performance in that win over Pittsburgh last week, a 3-yard gain. Joe Flacco, big difference between the home numbers and the road numbers for Flacco.
And he knows that crowd noise is rarely a factor here in Qualcomm Stadium.
Dig to Rice, running the hurry-up offense. Cam Thomas is there to greet him. It's a 2-yard gain for Rice. Offensively, Ja Reed officially is that left guard now. Bobby Williams is inactive today. Reed, the young offensive lineman from Central Florida. And the backs and receivers. Last week, Torrey Smith held in check, faced double teams throughout the game, and Smith just 1 catch for 7 yards in the 13-10 win in Pittsburgh. Ravens come in riding a 3-game winning streak, including 12 straight wins in the division. Flacco. Big stick, the spin move by Pitta. Dennis Pitta, second effort, and Pitta's going to have enough for the first down. Pitta coming off concussion-like symptoms. Defensively, Kendall Reyes, his first 2 sacks last week of the season. He's a rookie out of UConn. Linebackers, Jared Johnson, familiar face, 9 years with the Baltimore Ravens. Johnson had some playful texts back and forth with his former teammates this week. And in that secondary, Eric Weddle continues to make things happen for San Diego. Weddle last week, interception, return for a touchdown, 23 yards in the 30-23 loss in Denver. Flacco, new set of downs, dials up the deep ball. We've got separation, but it wasn't on time. Anquan Bolden, the intended receiver, he beat Jammer on the play, but Flacco couldn't deliver it.
Yeah, the ball sailed on Flacco all the way out of bounds on 1 hop. But unusual to see Bolden get deep on a veteran recorder there in Quentin Jammer. That's the way the Ravens want to play this game. Pound Rice up between the tackles and then take their shots down the field.
Cam Cameron, offensive coordinator for Baltimore. What kind of things can Cameron do to get Flacco into a rhythm? We'll talk about that in a moment. 2nd and 10. Stutter step move. Ray Rice takes it to the outside, and Rice is driven down by Bigby, the safety. That's a first down run for Rice of 16 yards.
Kelechi Osemele with a key block on the right side as the Ravens will go right to the line of scrimmage. But check out Osemele here, and he's going to give that block on spikes. And then down the sideline, 16 yards for Rice. That'll help Flacco's confidence.
So first down for Flacco and the Ravens. Bernard Pierce is in to give Rice a spell. Right up the middle, and not a whole lot there. Pierce forward progress will get him 3 yards on the carry. Reyes combining with Leggett to bring him down. So Baltimore at 8-2. Pittsburgh falls to 6-5, a loss to the Cleveland Browns. Indianapolis back to the winning ways for the Colts, 7-4 after being embarrassed by the New England Patriots. Indy very much in the hunt for a wild card berth. San Diego at 4-6. So 2nd and 7 now for the Ravens after the 3-yard run by Pierce. Ravens come in number 21 in total offense, but number 7 in scoring, 26.7 points per game. And this play whistle dead as flags come down. San Diego
False start.
pointing the other direction.
Offense number 76, 5-yard penalty, second down.
And that is young Ja Reed called on the false start. Let's get back to Flacco, though, Dan. Having played this position as long as you did, how can they help him? How can they get him going, especially in these road games?
Well, I like the first down pass or third down pass that resulted in a first down at Dennis Pitta. You know, he's got a big arm and they like to throw deep, but to get the confidence, you've got to get those completions early in a game. Getting the ball out to Ray Rice is not ever a bad idea.
So 2nd and 12 after the penalty. They keep it on the ground. Pierce trying to find a hole. There's nothing there after the juke move, a 2-yard pickup. Cam Thomas with another tackle for San Diego. The numbers are what they are in regards to Joe Flacco in the home and road comparison. Home numbers, over 322 yards of offense, 66% completion rate. Road numbers, 176.6, 7 touchdown differential in the same amount of games. 5-0 at home, 3-2 on the road. Losses at Philadelphia and at Houston. 8th play of the drive. This is a 3rd and 10 now for the Ravens. Flacco in the pocket, fires, drop ball. That's not going to help matters. Anquan Boldin was right at the stick, and it would have moved the chains. Marcus Gilchrist drew the assignment defensively for San Diego.
Yeah, great job by Gilchrist, sticking right on Boldin as Boldin's trying to run a hook route in the middle here. The ball thrown on time, but because Gilchrist was distracting Boldin, he couldn't pick up the ball or make the catch.
So Sam Cook will punt it. He's averaging over 47 yards per kick. And a net punting average just over 40. Chris Carr, the veteran, is back there. Carr will move forward. Fair catch called for. He brings it in cleanly at the 21. That's where San Diego is going to set up shop. 39-yard punt. Rivers and the Chargers. Offense back on the field when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Microsoft Surface. And by Toyota Care, caring for you and your car.
Beautiful downtown San Diego, picture-perfect day. No score, Ravens and Chargers. These two teams did meet last year, December the 18th. 34-14 win for San Diego here at Qualcomm. On first down for the Chargers. The former Raven McClain shifts to the backfield on a handoff for Matthews right up the middle and running at Haloti Ngata, who is the topic of our Fouts Focus today.
Yeah, he's a 3-time Pro Bowler and one of the game's most dominant defensive tackles. Watch him beat 2 blockers on this pass play and find his way to the quarterback for the sack. The former Oregon Duck against the run is at his very best. Almost impossible to single block. He keeps his eyes on the runner. Once he makes contact, that's the end of that running play.
Why was the college that he attended important as part of the Fouts Focus? There's Rivers to throw. On time to Alexander, and a flag is thrown as Alexander gets himself across the 45-yard line. A bullet from Rivers.
It's coming back, though, Ian. He pushed off to get so wide open.
21-yard gain through the air.
Yeah, he pushed off on Kerry
Pass
Williams.
interference. Offense, number 84. 10-yard penalty. Replay, second down.
Ed Reed slow to get up after that collision. That's twice now he's been slow to get up on pass plays. But here is Denario Alexander and Kerry Williams. Yep, that's pass interference right there. He just overpowered Williams. Question for Baltimore is the health of Ed Reed right now. Looked like he was grabbing his ankle as he went down to the ground.
Reed, though, remains on the field. Alexander, big man, 6'5", 217 pounds. Undrafted back in 2010 after suffering an injury at the Senior Bowl. 2nd and 16. Matthews breaks a tackle. Going right at this Baltimore defense. Bernard Pollard, the safety, in on the play after the 9-yard gain by Ryan Matthews. One of the biggest mysteries in the NFL has been Ryan Matthews.
We'll go back and take a look at the injury to Ed Reed. Watch Bernard Pollard, right foot, the left foot rather, he's going to come down right on Reed's foot. And these guys are wearing cleats in the bottom of those shoes, and that could really sting.
So Matthews heads to the San Diego sideline. Reed remains in there on 3rd and 7 now for the Chargers. Motion man is Floyd. 21 rushing yards for Ryan Matthews. Play clock winding down. Rivers out of the gun. Rivers devoured. It was a wave coming in, led by Ellerbe.
Yeah, Ellerbe with the sack. They also brought the corner, Corey Graham, off that side. That will fire up Ray Lewis. But watch right from here, this side. Suggs drops back, but Graham comes, and Ellerbe is there as they meet at the quarterback for a -8.
So Cyphers will punt it again. Jacoby Jones is standing at his own 33-yard line. Jones, 3 touchdowns on returns this season. He's been playing at a Pro Bowl level. 54-yard punt. Jones turns the corner and a flag down. Raw speed from Jacoby Jones. Penalty marker back at the 34-yard line in Baltimore territory.
Yeah, Anthony Allen will get called for an illegal block there. That got Jones to the corner and down the sidelines, but it's all for naught.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team, number 35. 10-yard penalty. First down, Baltimore. Timeout.
So that long run is negated. Baltimore will have the football a little bit deeper in its own territory when we come back to San Diego. Saturday, a BCS title game bid is on the line when A.J. McCarron and the Alabama Crimson Tide roll against Aaron Murray and the Georgia Bulldogs for the SEC Championship. It all starts live at 3 Eastern with College Football Championship Saturday and College Football Today right here on CBS.
It looked like the SEC was going to get shut out of the BCS. Not so fast. They're going to be back in it against Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, number 1 team in the country. The winner there will play the Fighting Irish for the national championship. On a give for Rice, slicing. 3-yard gain for Ray Rice. Kendall Reyes in on that stop. Rice made a point yesterday with our group, Dan. They're an angry 8-2. They're not satisfied with the record. They don't feel like they're a finished product by any stretch. They've dodged a few bullets this year, in fact, to get to that 8-2 mark.
Well, they really haven't demonstrated what they can hang their hat on. Sometimes they run the ball well, sometimes they pass it well. They haven't put it all together. They know there's so much more out there for them, and that makes Ray angry.
2nd and 7, play fake. Flacco to throw, knocked away. Tried to squeeze it to Bolden, but Quentin Jammer, the veteran, able to get his hand on it for San Diego.
That ball thrown just a little bit late to Bolden. And I think that's one of the problems with Flacco at times. He's got such a strong arm. He thinks he can get it in there without anticipating. He can see the route there. Tremendous coverage by Jammer, avoiding contact and knocking the ball away. Flacco off to a slow start, 1 for 4 for just 7 yards.
Yeah, we'll see if that storyline continues. The road woes for Joe Flacco. 4:21 to go in this first quarter. 3rd and 7 now for Baltimore. Flacco working out of the gun. Protection holds up on a dump off. And Quan Bolden's got the first down and dishing out some punishment. Leaning into Atari Bigby. 19 yards. Bolden is a physical 6'1", 220.
Leaning into him, huh? This is more like blowing him up. Watch the end of this play. Watch Digby go flying backwards. Bolden, the former quarterback, playing like a fullback.
Working quickly here on a dump off for Rice. He takes it across midfield. Eric Weddle over there for San Diego. A 4-yard pickup on the catch and run.
And remember we talked about there's no crowd noise here. There's stadium, a whole lot of empty seats. So the Ravens can run their hurry up without any problem with Flacco calling the signals. And he likes this type of offense. This is what he can use to get things rolling for the Ravens as they are now.
Yeah, finally some pace, some rhythm here for Flacco and the Ravens moving the football. Facing a 2nd and 6. 3:25 to play in the first quarter. Shotgun again. Flacco, the soft toss. Rice dancing, and modest gain for Ray Rice. 4-yard pickup for Rice. Middle of the field. Takeo Spikes in on that stop.
And when I talked to Rice yesterday, he said he'd like to get the ball between 20 and 25 times today. They will feature him running between the tackles. They feel it's more difficult to get wide on these San Diego defensive ends and linebackers.
And he said this is the most talented team that he's ever been a part of offensively. Speed all over the place. You can't lock in on one guy defensively. 3rd and 2. Flacco making some changes. Plenty of time in the play clock. Rush coming, they handle it. Flacco out route, catch made by Smith. He's got a first down, and Jammer will force him out of bounds.
Hey, he talked about how the Steelers double-teamed Torrey Smith in the previous game. This is the first catch of the day. Had just won against the Steelers. And he comes real close to going all the way down the sideline. Strong hands by Quentin Jammer to hang on to that jersey.
Look at the average, though. Over 17 yards per catch. That is 5th in the NFL. Smith, big play receiver.
That's part of that talent you said Ray Rice was referring to, the speed of Torrey Smith.
Play fake. Flacco. Deep ball. Incomplete. The closest man to it was Eric Weddle in a Charger uniform. Torrey Smith was in the vicinity for Baltimore.
It looked like some type of miscommunication with Torrey Smith and his quarterback. Here he is right down here at the bottom of the screen. He gets bumped off his route by Kaysen. And lucky that ball was thrown out of the back of the end zone by Flacco.
San Diego comes in number 8 in the NFL in team defense, 14th in scoring defense. Moving pocket, Flacco on the rollout. Incomplete. Jacoby Jones drop ball for Baltimore. It sets up 3rd and 10 now.
You see the reaction from Flacco? It's like he smelled something bad. This is bad. This is a clanger. This hits him in both hands, wide open on the sideline. Bang! Out of bounds.
Do you have some flashbacks or something there? We're getting sound effects from you. 3rd and 10. 2:02 to play in this first quarter. Ravens 0 offensive points in their last 5 quarters. They have gotten big performances on special teams though this year. Flacco is dropped. Corey Liuget. And that has put them out of field goal range.
Exactly. And Justin Tucker, the rookie out of Texas, he's got some range too. There's a blitz by the corner, and Liuget working single inside. Watch Liuget right here. He's going to just split the tackle and guard there, Ja Reed and Michael Orr.
Ball came out late on that play, but Flacco was already down. The whistle had blown. Loss of 9
You
for
can
the
call
Ravens.
that. You can call that a 3-point sack because it definitely was in range for Tucker.
So instead, it's Sam Cook with Chris Carr waiting. High punt. Carr will field it at the 13-yard line. Only goes down as a 30-yard punt. Chargers will get the football back. Good defensive stand from San Diego.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And by Geico, where 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Some of the pictures here in San Diego. Baltimore and the Chargers scoreless in this first quarter, a minute 25 to play. Chargers get the football back just short of the 15-yard line. Rivers will work out of the gun. Phillip Rivers is 2 of 2 for 13 yards. San Diego, though, hasn't been able to move the football. Rivers throwing a high throw. It's handled by McMichael. Randy McMichael bangs his way to the 20-yard line. 6-yard pickup for the tight end. Got a sports fan on your gift list? Avoid the crowds with CBSSports.com shop. Save big on all officially licensed clearance gear with an additional 20% off now at shop.cbssports.com.
Yeah, what are you going to get me this year?
A whole lot of nothing.
Personality?
I think it's something. San Diego, 2-2 at Qualcomm this season. Running play up the middle. And it's Ryan Matthews for a 2-yard gain. Paul Kruger in on that stop. This game did not sell out here in San Diego. Interest waning with this Chargers team at 4-6. Well, this franchise has not had a whole lot of losing seasons. In fact, they haven't had a sub-500 season since 2003 when they went 4-12. Norv Turner now in his 6th year as the head coach of the Chargers. That pass deflected. Rivers trying to hit his man on the outside, Ajira Tutu, but it was Terrell Suggs getting a piece with 2 seconds left in this first quarter.
Well, last time the Chargers had a 3rd down, Rivers got sacked. This time Tutu is going to be open in the flat. But watch number 55 here working on Mike Harris. Right hand goes up. Great elevation that time by Terrell Suggs.
On their previous 2 third downs, Rivers had been sacked. This time he avoids the sack but unable to convert. And Cypress on once again with Jones standing at his own 25-yard line. Jacoby Jones is averaging 12.1 yards per return off punts. A roll, it bounces right to Jones. Trying to circle now. Jones able to turn the corner and turn that into a 10-yard return. End of the first quarter here at Qualcomm. The Chargers and the Ravens scoreless. We'll return to San Diego after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. John Harbaugh's team now a 2.5-game lead over Pittsburgh in the AFC North as the Steelers fall to the Cleveland Browns today. Baltimore at 8-2. Ravens under Harbaugh 27-5 when playing a sub-500 team that includes 5 straight wins. Open up this second quarter with a 1st and 10 for Baltimore at the 34-yard line. Pierce is in the backfield. He gets the carry. And Pierce is caught down low by Jammer and Bigby. 2-yard gain for Bernard Pierce. And injured Charger on the play.
Yeah, I think that's Bigby. Yep.
So Atari Bigby, starting safety formerly with Green Bay and Seattle. Banged up as Pierce kept on running as Bigby went down low. We'll step aside early stage of the second quarter.
Check out the right leg of Quentin Jammer. Bigby on the ground. This is just one of those unfortunate incidents where your own teammate injured you. Bigby on the sideline getting checked out.
Corey Lynch steps up for him. Here's Pierce turning the corner. Bernard Pierce. But nothing there. San Diego doing a good job on the outside. Melvin Ingram in on that stop.
Yeah, you see the advantage that San Diego has with their team speed along this defensive front. They're only giving up 87 yards per game on the ground to their opponents. And the Ravens are not having any success going wide against the Charger defense so far.
Cam Cameron, former offensive coordinator for the San Diego Chargers. No score here. 14:05 to play in the second quarter. It's 3rd and 9 now for Baltimore. Flacco is 5 of 10 for 46 yards. They crowd the line. Here they come. Flacco lets it fly. Incomplete. Torrey Smith, the intended receiver. Antoine Cason in coverage for San Diego.
Yeah, it was good double coverage that time. Cason had him deep. Watch Weddle, 32, come underneath this route. Forces Flacco to throw it high, and it goes right over the head of Torrey Smith. It's a misread of the coverage by Joe Flacco. Lucky that he saw it in time to let it sail high, or Weddle would have had a pick 6.
3rd punt of the day now for Sam Cook. Chris Carr, the deep man. Fair catch called for. Carr straddling that sideline, and he's down out of bounds at the 21-yard line. 44-yard punt. We remain scoreless. Second quarter. AFC wildcard. Indianapolis is now 7-4. Pittsburgh is 6-5. For San Diego, they've got Cincinnati coming up on the schedule and Pittsburgh. 2 teams that are in that battle right now for the wild card in the AFC. Rivers on 1st down throws. Wide open Alexander, and he's dangerous after the catch. Alexander is brought down at midfield. 26 yards on the pass play. Corey Graham there defensively for Baltimore.
Yeah, just his 16th catch of the season, but it is after the catch. Watch the strength as he'll pick up an extra 7, 8, almost 10 yards after making that grab all the way out to midfield.
Last week, 7 catches, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns in that loss to Denver. We asked him, how is he preparing? I've got my head in the playbook. I've packed a lot in. He works extensively with wide receiver coach, the great Charlie Joyner, one of your favorite targets back in the day. On first down for Rivers. On the move, and he'll just throw it out of bounds.
Go back and take a look at Denario Alexander's 3 touchdowns. This is a slant route that ends up going 80 yards. Great balance there. Get his hand on the ground and then get to the end zone. And then he's 6'5", 217 pounds. So you know this is a type of receiver Rivers loves. Similar to the departed Vincent Jackson in size and the confidence. And what a mentor he has in Charlie Joyner.
Alexander had a workout with Buffalo 6 weeks ago. He thought it went really well. He was shocked that they didn't sign him. Ends up with the San Diego Chargers. Perfectly thrown ball to Floyd on the crossing route towards the sideline. 16 yards.
Well, if you give Philip Rivers this amount of time to throw, he's going to find his receivers. Right foot down and left foot. Did it scrape the grass as he's going out? Just barely. Good call by the officials and great camera work by our crew. There's the right foot and the left foot. Just enough. A toenail perhaps scraping the grass going out of bounds.
Line of scrimmage is now the 36-yard line for San Diego. First catch of the day for Floyd. 44th of the year. Play fake. Rivers almost intercepted, and it would have gone the distance. Floyd, the intended receiver, and Corey Graham was over on that side for Baltimore.
Yeah, this ball thrown late by Rivers to the outside. Floyd runs a hook and then slides to the outside. Ball not thrown far enough to the outside. And look at the attempt there by Graham. I think Floyd may have got a finger in there to knock it down. You're right, Ian. Graham would be celebrating the end zone right about now.
Corey Graham signed to a 2-year, $3.7 million contract from Chicago, and now is playing a big role in this Baltimore defense. Rivers steps, he guns, sideline, it's Alexander again. Denario Alexander quickly becoming one of Philip Rivers' favorite targets. 9-yard gain, Cary Williams the coverage. So Denario Alexander was with St. Louis a couple of years. Jeff Fisher comes in. He gets injured in the preseason and was shocked that he was released. He did not see that coming. See the numbers he put up, modest numbers in his 2 years. Said that he really believes in Sam Bradford, though, believes that Bradford will be a superstar in this league. 3rd and 1 for San Diego. Jackie Battle is snuffed out. Ellerbe.
This is going to be close, though. The official at the bottom of the screen here has it marked right about at the 26, and that's what Battle needed to get that first down. So the chains are going to have to come out. Take a look at this one. Battle goes real low there. It's bent sideways, and he may not have gotten enough.
As you said, needed to get to the 26-yard line. And it's going to bring up potentially a big decision for Norv Turner on 4th down. 4th and inches or a 44-yard field goal for San Diego.
It's going to be inches short. Or you're 4 and 6. You got to do something to get this team going again. I like this decision by Norv Turner. Go for it. I mean, Jackie Battle goes 240 pounds. And here comes Rivers along with McMichael and McClain.
Have to get to the 26. They are inches shy of that. Trying to keep this drive alive.
A lot of beef up front, though, for the Ravens. They are tough to move out of there.
7th play of the drive. The former Raven McClain is in there. Battle behind him. Tight formation. It's Battle. Looks like he got enough. Haloti Ngata in on that play for Baltimore. And it is enough. New set of downs for San Diego to work with. Norv Turner going for it on 4th and inches.
And a beverage to for Turner on the sidelines. That dry throat kind of happens sometimes when you're going for it on 4th down. But, you know, the big thing that Battle did is he got real low. And the old adage that low man wins, never more evident than on that play, as Battle just got about a half yard for the first down. All he needed.
Ray Lewis watching on the sideline, made the trip out here. This is a San Diego team that has not had a rushing touchdown since week 5. That's the second longest streak in the NFL behind Green Bay. Spin move by Matthews, gets some extra yardage. 4-yard gain, Donnell Ellerbe with a stop. Ray Lewis has a pretty good memory at this stadium. I think he probably has a pretty good memory at every stadium in the NFL. This was 2009. Darren Sproles lit up by Lewis. 4th down, won the game for Baltimore.
And San Diego was threatening down deep in their own end of the field. And Lewis read it perfectly, timed it perfectly, and dropped Sproles.
Harbaugh telling us they would love to get Lewis back for that regular season finale. At least that's their hope. Low snap handled by Rivers. Throws. Touchdown! Malcolm Floyd. And the slam. 21 yards on the hookup. Chargers go in front.
2 great plays on one play by Phillip Rivers, handling the low snap from Nick Hardwick, and then delivering a strike after he gathered himself in the pocket to Malcolm Floyd. Floyd's 4th touchdown catch of the year. An impressive 78-yard drive in 9 plays. How about the reaction by Rivers to make that catch? Floyd gets inside of Kerry Williams on the post for the score.
Extra point from Nick Novak. A 7-0 lead for San Diego. 9:43 to play in this first half. A year ago, San Diego scored 6 of its first 7 possessions against Baltimore. They're on the board today.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by FedEx. FedEx does more than shipping. FedEx, solutions that matter. Samsung Galaxy Note 2. The next big thing is here. And by the all-new 2013 Ford Escape. It's what happens when you go further.
It is the NFL on CBS from coast to coast. San Diego Chargers at 4-6. The Ravens are 8-2. And it's San Diego in front, 7-0 with 9:43 to play in this second quarter. 9 plays, 78 yards. Floyd, the 21-yard touchdown catch from Rivers. Jacoby Jones returning. And Jones toppled as he crossed the 15-yard line. Chargers fighting for the football. Ravens have it. Jackie Battle. And a couple of players hurt on the play.
Yeah, both Ravens. Jones is one of them, as he was hit low by Jackie Battle. Great job by Battle as he goes low. The ball comes out as Jones hits the ground. And the Chargers make the mistake of trying to pick it up and take it in the end zone. Melvin Ingram, the rookie, had the first shot at it.
So the Ravens do recover it. Jacoby Jones injured on the play, and Ed Dixon, the tight end, also shaken up. Dixon is up.
I think he's going to challenge the spot here because it looked like the ground caused the fumble. The elbow of Jones hit the ground. The ball popped out.
Baltimore
Once
is challenging
the elbow hits.
the ruling on the field that it was a fumble recovered by Baltimore.
So Gene Steratore is going to take a look at that. Bigger concern right now is for their return man extraordinaire, Jacoby Jones.
This is going to save the Ravens a few yards. I'm not sure it's worth the challenge, though. Ball will be marked at about the 17 if it's turned over. But watch the right elbow go down. He is down at that point. Ball comes out. A successful challenge, I think, by John Harbaugh. Well, Jackie Battle's going to
After
make
review,
the tackle.
it has been determined that the runner was down by contact on the 16-yard line. The ball will be placed on the 16-yard line on the hash mark nearest San Diego's bench. Please set the game clock to 9 minutes, 41 seconds. Baltimore will also have 2 challenges remaining at this point. They also are not charged with the timeout.
Good job by the coaching staff upstairs to see the replay. It took Harbaugh a while to challenge this, but you got to question whether saving 7 yards is worth the risk of losing a challenge and a timeout.
Jones is now on the Baltimore sideline, trying to shake it off. Line of scrimmage is the 16, and now Baltimore's in a 7-0 hole. Rice out across the 20-yard line. That's a 6-yard gain for Rice. And the former Raven, Abriah Franklin, making that stop for San Diego.
Well, here's the route by Floyd. A good fake to the corner and then back to the post. But Pollard will move out of the middle here, and that just exposes Kerry Williams to that great double move by Floyd. Rivers on the drive, 4 of 6 for 72 in that 21-yard touchdown pass.
2nd and 4 for the Ravens. Right up the gut once again for Ray Rice.
And you notice they're getting back to the original game plan that Harbaugh talked about, that they want to be physical with San Diego, make this a physical game, run right at them. They respect the corner speed, the edge speed of San Diego. And so on this drive, 2 runs right between the tackles for Rice.
Groin injury for Atari Bigby. His return is questionable for San Diego. Rice not going to get there. Takeo Spikes among those in there with Kendall Reyes. A loss of 1 on the play for Rice. The Ravens go 3 and out. And the offense has been shaky.
Well, 51 is Spikes. He reads that perfectly. Ran through the hole. Here he is right here. Watch the quickness he has. Just too many blue shirts there for the Ravens to block. And a huge play on 3rd down for the Charger defense.
4 possessions for Baltimore. 4 punts for Sam Cook. Chris Carr waiting at his own 31. High punt from Cook. Backpedaling. Carr never called for a fair catch. So he's a free man for Baltimore down the field, and Anthony Levine makes that play on special teams. 7-0 lead with the ball, San Diego.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by E-Trade. Works beautifully. And by Applebee's. Enjoy everyday specials this season and the new Spirited Cuisine menu. See you tomorrow.
San Diego, 108 yards of offense. They've run 8 running plays, 12 passes so far, and Joe Flacco is 5 of 11 for 46 yards for Baltimore. The Ravens are 8-2, but had a tough time at Kansas City. Tight game against Dallas last week. Able to squeeze that win out against Pittsburgh. So they have found ways to win the close games. Coming out to the West Coast, they traveled on Friday, trying to adjust to the time. Handoff, Matthews emerges through that hole. Ryan Matthews brought down by Kruger, but not until he gained 9 yards. Get coverage of every NFL game with NFL Mobile. Watch every touchdown from Sunday afternoon with NFL Red Zone for $5 a month. Call ** NFL to download or go to NFL.com/mobile. 2nd and 1 now for the Chargers. 6 ex-Ravens on this San Diego roster. The 6th, Gaither, was placed on IR earlier this week. Matthews again, and he's got enough for a first down near the 30-yard line. He picks up 3 yards. Terrell Suggs makes that stop for Baltimore.
Well, Rivers got time to throw on that last drive. He hit 4 of 6. This one got him going. First play of the drive, 26 yards to Alexander. Then Floyd on the sideline for 16, and then the payoff, 63 of the 72-yard on that drive, and those 3 passes for Rivers. Time to throw. He's on target.
New set of downs for San Diego. 6:42 to go in this first half. Chargers with a 7-0 lead. Rivers to throw it again. And he just throws it into the ground. You think back to that Tampa Bay game where Phillip Rivers made one of the worst passes of his career, and it was a game changer. Chargers were already in field goal range. They were down 3 to Tampa Bay. It goes back the other way for a touchdown. And that play has been emblematic of the kind of season that the Chargers have had.
Yeah, you know, I think the biggest problem is that at times, because of the pressure he's been under, this offensive line in pretty much disarray, trying to make things happen. And it's a very common problem with a guy that's as competitive as Philip Rivers is.
A league high 14 interceptions and 4 lost fumbles for Philip Rivers. 2nd and 10, back to the ground game. Matthews out across the 30-yard line, 4-yard pickup. Pollard in on that tackle for Baltimore.
That's exactly the type of production the Chargers have been missing from Ryan Matthews. He's averaging about 4.5 yards per carry this afternoon. Had 90 yards and 2 touchdowns last year in that 34-14 Charger win over Baltimore.
Chargers 0 of 12 on 3rd down in the first half of the last 2 games. Matthews broken collarbone in August. He's had neck issues. Injuries have been a problem during his 3-year NFL career out of Fresno State. This is a 3rd and 6 now for San Diego. There's movement, no flag. Rivers, it's caught by Gates. The future Hall of Famer Antonio Gates not putting up the numbers he's accustomed to, but still can be a factor. Dannell Ellerbe in coverage.
Yeah, and it's 3rd and 6, and that's Gates time. Here he is right here. He's single covered by Ellerbe. Rivers has time to throw, to wait it out, and Gates gets open by 6 or 7 yards.
Dannell Ellerbe just limped off the field.
And another Raven just hit the deck.
So that's Ellerbe. Looked like he was trying to get back in there. He was limping away and then couldn't make it. Ellerbe 2nd on the team in tackles. So important without Ray Lewis. Timeout. Thanks to you, our generous viewers, the American Red Cross has been helping thousands affected by Hurricane Sandy get back on their feet on this Thanksgiving weekend. We want to thank all of you for making a real difference. Learn more at redcross.org. CBS Cares. Some injury updates. Ellerbe, an ankle. They are working on that right now. Dixon, a knee. He's in the locker room, and Jones an ankle injury. That was the concern when Jones didn't get up after the return when he got knocked down by Battle on special teams. 5:24 to go in this first half, and the Chargers with a 7-0 lead. They're looking for more. Philip Rivers so far 8 of 12, 102 yards and a touchdown. On 1st down, another connection. It's Floyd.
They're going to get a flag on this. They've got to get a flag on this. There's no flag.
Bernard Pollard with the hit on Floyd, 15 yards on the pass play.
This is unbelievable. Floyd is a good 10 yards out of bounds when Pollard takes him all the way to the ground.
Wow. So made contact with him just on the sideline and then continued with the tackle into the San Diego bench area. Another 1st down for the Chargers in Baltimore territory. Set it up on the outside and look at him go. Alexander! And Reed with the smack. 19 yards for Denario Alexander, the Marlin, Texas native.
Great block by Jeremy Clary to get Alexander rolling. Watch the right tackle here. He's going to come out here and make a block on Corey Graham. It was an outstanding effort by Clary.
Alexander now 3 catches, 54 yards. We come up on 4 minutes to play in this first half. San Diego on the move once again. 1st and 10 from the 22. Play action. Rivers throws it away. Put it over the head of Ronnie Brown, not taking any chances now as they're close to the red zone. 2nd and 10 for San Diego.
That's about 3 real smart passes today in the first half where Rivers has not forced the ball. He's thrown the ball away. That gives his offensive line a lot of confidence. They hate to see him sacked. He was sacked twice in the first quarter. But since then, they've done a good job protecting him, and he's making good decisions with the ball.
Yeah, something Norv Turner has talked about at great length. He doesn't want Philip Rivers to try to make plays with his feet, with his legs. Throw the ball away if you don't see it. 2nd and 10. Pressure. And Rivers is dropped by Suggs. Terrell Suggs, his 2nd sack of the season. Suggs coming off the torn Achilles tendon in the offseason and just trying to get back up to speed for this Baltimore defense.
Yeah, he's going to beat the rookie tackle, Mike Harris here. Here's Suggs. And just uses his hands to get around Harris and get all the way to the quarterback. Big play by Terrell Suggs. Just what the Ravens needed. Chargers have really built up some momentum in the last 2 drives.
Harris, the rookie out of UCLA. That was supposed to be Jared Gaither's spot, but Gaither could not stay in the lineup. Placed on IR with a groin injury, the former Raven. 3rd sack of the day for the Baltimore D. Now 3rd and long. Rivers. And that's thrown it away. Philip Rivers with Paul Kruger supplying the heat.
And there was nobody on that side of the field for Rivers to even be tempted to throw the ball to. And really a smart play by Rivers to avoid stepping out of bounds and getting rid of this ball. He's real close to getting out of bounds here. But he did get rid of it before he did. He threw the ball past the line of scrimmage. So no intentional grounding.
And a 47-yard attempt now for Nick Novak.
This would equal his season long.
From 47 yards away, Novak. He's got it. It's a 10-0 lead for the Chargers. 3:04 to play in this first half. Baltimore's offense has been limited to 75 yards and a 10-0 advantage. 9th all-time meeting between these two teams. 4-4 record between the two. San Diego goes 11 plays, 53 yards, and a Novak 47-yard field goal to give the Chargers a 10-0 lead. San Diego, 161 yards of offense. Rivers has looked sharp, 10 of 16, 136 yards, and a touchdown. Meanwhile, Baltimore has looked very flat in the first half.
Harbaugh talked about making this an AFC North type of game. A physical game where they're going to pound the ball at the Chargers. You got to give the Charger run defense a lot of credit. They've been able to stop the run and then focus on Flacco in the pocket. Just a really outstanding effort by the Charger defense so far to hold down this talented Raven offense.
Jacoby Jones is in there. Novak, well placed. Looking for the corner. Jones doesn't even touch the ball. And they'll have it at the 20-yard line. Tomorrow on CBS, is she a psychoanalyst or just plain psycho? Catch an electrifying new Hawaii 5-0. That's tomorrow, only CBS. Baltimore Ravens, a win today will give them at least 9 victories for the 5th straight year. They come in averaging 26.7 points per game. That would be the highest in franchise history, but just 16.6 points per game on the road. Fake the handoff. Flacco is sacked. They couldn't handle Antoine Barnes.
They couldn't handle him last year either, the former Raven. That's 5 sacks in the last 2 games against Flacco. And Barnes just did an outstanding job of getting around Osemele. Right here, watch this move. Just too much quickness around the corner. Osemele barely laid a hand on him.
Barnes, Jared Johnson, Chris Carr, Brian Franklin, LeRon McClain, all former Ravens. 2nd and 16, now the running play to Rice, and the Chargers are prepared for it. Eric Weddle.
Eric Weddle's gone to Pro Bowls because of plays like this. He can intercept passes as well, but watch as he comes through this hole and meets Rice in the backfield. John Pagano, the defensive coordinator for the Chargers, everything he's dialing up right now is being successful for this defense.
And Dan, San Diego has called a timeout, looking at the clock and a chance to get the football back with 2:23 remaining. First half coming up. Verizon halftime report. JB and the rest of the crew. Latest NFL scores and highlights. It's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. And there is John Pagano, defensive coordinator, brother, of course, of Indianapolis head coach Chuck Pagano. We asked John how Chuck was doing. He said he's doing great.
He's ready for his second round of chemo, and we wish him all the very best. We know how difficult that can be.
Another big win for Indianapolis. What a season they've put together. 3rd and 16. Flacco rifles to nobody. Dennis Pitta was in the general area, but way too high. And this has been a major struggle for Flacco and the Ravens today. Sean Phillips may have been banged up on the play. This is the home and away comparison. 36.8 points per game at home, under 17 points per game on the road. The yardage, huge differential, and the record, 5-0, undefeated at home, 3-2 on the road. Punt from Sam Cook. Chris Carr, this time the fair catch called for after the 50-yard punt by Cook.
Well, we saw Phillips come off the field limping. Donald Butler was also hurt on that play as he had coverage down the field on Pitta.
John Harbaugh's squad trailing 10-0, 2:09 to play in this first half. San Diego has the football with a 1st and 10 at its own 36-yard line.
Well, there's Phillips right here. Watch as he's working on Assembly, and right down on his right shoulder. And Assembly just lays that 335 pounds on top of him. There's Butler getting stretched out. Looked like he may have pulled a groin muscle.
Two key defensive players for San Diego injured late stages of the second quarter. Rivers sees nothing and throws it into the ground in the direction of Ronnie Brown. 2nd and 10.
And he avoided the sack by giving ground. Chargers have great field position here after that 3 and out by their defense. A lot of time left for San Diego and a pair of timeouts and the 2-minute warning.
Dan, I think Philip Rivers has gotten Norv Turner's message loud and clear. He's thrown the ball away 4 times in this first half.
And he saved yardage by doing so, and also hasn't thrown an interception. I hate to jinx anybody, but that's the truth.
Shotgun formation for Rivers. They handle the pressure, or do they? Rivers brought down. Courtney Upshaw, rookie out of Alabama. Ravens defensive player has been raving about the upside of Upshaw. We've hit the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play in this first half. A 3rd and 14 for San Diego. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Baltimore has 3 timeouts remaining. Trying to stop the Chargers here and get something going on offense before we hit the break. Philip Rivers now 10 of 17, 136 yards and a touchdown. He has avoided any mistakes in this first half. On 3rd and long, Rivers. Ajira Tutu hauls it in. 12-yard gain, but short of a first down.
Ajira Tutu working from the slot against Corey Graham, just about 2 or 3 yards shy of the first down, and stops the clock for the Ravens with their 3 timeouts left.
So Mike Seiferts will punt it. Tandon Das is now the deep man, as Jones must not be 100% because of that ankle. Wobbly punt. Bounces high in the air. Das is forced towards the sideline and out of bounds just across the 15-yard line. That's where Baltimore will open up this possession with 1:45 to go in the first half. Sharice Wright with the special teams tackle. Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report, JB and Company, NFL scores and highlights. It's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Everybody knows the Baltimore Ravens are an excellent home team. They're undefeated this season. That is one of the best venues in the NFL, probably top 3 home environments, M&T Bank Stadium. But on the road, there's still question marks about this Ravens squad of 3-2.
And you wonder how much that Steeler win took out of this team. A real physical battle in Pittsburgh last time out.
13-10 win for Baltimore last week. Dennis Pitta works his way to the sideline. Eric Weddle over there to help him get there. It's a 2-yard pickup. Last time that the Ravens have been shut out in a half, October of 2011 at Jacksonville. We're talking about a 20-game span.
And against the Jaguars. No less.
2nd and 8 now. Flacco over the middle. Rice makes a cut and caught from behind. Ray Rice trying to break free. Corey Liuget stuck with the play. It's a 6-yard gain.
Yeah, the Ravens hoping to get young Justin Tucker in range. He's got a big leg. He's already hit 4 field goals this season in his rookie year, over 50 yards.
First have to convert though on a 3rd down. This is 3rd and 2 for Baltimore. Flacco over the middle. Rice, first down. To the 29-yard line. Takeo Spikes with the tackle. Well, that Butler injury, we talked about it earlier, is a groin injury. His return is questionable for San Diego. Moving quickly here. Flacco is dumped by Phillips. Sean Phillips with the sack for San Diego, and Flacco goes down in a heap.
And if there's one guy that the Ravens should be focusing on, it is Sean Phillips. He's going to work on Assembly over here. Assembly will come back and try to make the block on Phillips. Again, just can't get his hands on the pass rusher and doesn't have the foot speed to stay with him. Great balance by Phillips as he was leaning to his right, went low on Flacco and brought him down. 3rd San Diego sack. It's been a rough first half for both quarterbacks. Rivers has gone down 4 times.
That's a 9-year veteran who still has excellent speed as a pass rusher going against a rookie in Osemele out of Iowa State, 2nd-round pick, who is athletic. Played left tackle in college, starting at right tackle for Baltimore, but having problems. 2nd and 15 now. Rush is coming. Flacco avoids it, circling and throws it away. Das took a shot at the end of the play from behind. Joe Flacco. These are rough numbers in the first half for Flacco. 8 of 16, 59 yards.
But he did a super job of avoiding a sack on that play, showing his strength as he pulled away from a couple of Chargers and then used his head to throw that ball away. He's going to have to be real careful here. More important not to turn the ball away, turn the ball over, not to force it into coverage here, as the Chargers will probably play a zone, keep their eye on the quarterback.
Play clock is down to 2. They'll run it with Rice. Ray Rice with a head of steam. Rice crosses the 35, but short of a first down. Quentin Jammer helping in run support. 13-yard gain for Rice.
And Chargers not using one of their 2 remaining timeouts here. Baltimore looks like they're going to go for it here on 4th down.
And now Norv Turner will use a timeout with 11 seconds left on the clock.
That's about 15 seconds off the clock there before the Chargers called timeout.
Yeah, I think Norv Turner was happy to just head to the locker room thinking that Baltimore is just going to punt it. Then when Baltimore showed they were going to go for it, Norv had to make a decision.
Yeah, look, it's 33 seconds when Rice hits the ground, and now there are 11 seconds to go here in the first half. So some indecision on the sidelines, but maybe a good move by John Harbaugh, keeping his offense out there and creating that moment of doubt for the Chargers. Now they bring out the punt team, obviously with just 11 seconds to go. A strange first half for both teams.
Yeah, you do have to question. The logic would be call the quick timeout, and hey, with 30 seconds left, who knows?
Yeah, then sort it out.
Absolutely. You want to make that decision that you just want to sit on it afterwards, but force Baltimore into the punt. Strange things could happen with a block punt and a free ball. 6 possessions, 6 punts for the Ravens. Cook has been a busy man, as has Chris Carr. He's going to let this one bounce, and this will get tapped by Baltimore.
That ball almost backed up into Antoine Cason. Almost touched him.
We hit the halftime break. 10-0, San Diego leading Baltimore. Verizon halftime report is coming up after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. In San Diego, quarterback Philip Rivers has led the way for the Chargers in the first half. Meanwhile, for Baltimore, not been able to establish anything offensively. 6 possessions, 6 punts, their road woes continuing. And as we get you ready for second half action, the Chargers lead the Ravens 10-0. Welcome back to the broadcast booth, everybody. Ian Eagle along with Hall of Famer Dan Fouts. San Diego said this over and over again in the meetings that they actually felt like they matched up better with Baltimore because of the Ravens' size. They're big defensively, maybe not as fast as Denver, and they've so far at least proven to be right.
I think the Chargers are a faster team today against the Ravens. And, you talked about Rivers and his start in the first half. Decision-making was absolutely spot on, throwing the ball away a number of times. But defensively, holding the Ravens to just 90 yards in that first half shows you just about the speed of the San Diego Charger defense and the creativity that John Pagano has combined with that ability.
Now, these are troubling numbers right now. 90 yards for Baltimore, 169 in the first half for San Diego. 8 plays of 10 or more yards for the Chargers. Baltimore limited to just 4 in that category. And you can follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. So time for the second half. Remember, Baltimore did win the toss and deferred to the second half, so San Diego will be kicking it off. John Harbaugh felt that they came out of the Pittsburgh game better than he anticipated physically after it was a very physical battle.
And good news for the Ravens. Back deep to return this kickoff is Jacoby Jones.
So Novak will kick it off. Jones dealing with that ankle injury after taking the hit from Jackie Battle.
Yeah, last time he touched the ball, it was a disaster. They avoided the fumble as his elbow was correctly ruled to be down before the ball came out. But we'll see how he recovers from that ankle injury.
We're underway, second half at Qualcomm. Deep kick, and Jones is going to take it out. Not the right decision. Forced out of bounds at the 16-yard line by Sharice Wright. On special teams, they exchanged some words at the end of the play.
I guess you could say the officials are letting them play with a wide field, almost a Canadian-sized field. This is the sacks on Flacco in the first half. Barnes, Chargers had 3 different guys get credit for sacks in that first half. The Ravens had 4 separate sackers of Philip Rivers.
We asked Flacco about last year's game, the 34-14 win for San Diego, and Flacco said, I don't have a long memory to begin with, and last year is not a game to remember. Flacco, dump off, Vontae Leach. Quentin Jammer was all over it for the Chargers.
Yeah, Flacco didn't really want to talk about last year, does not want to talk about this first half. 6 possessions and a busy afternoon for Sam Cook. The Charger is injured at about the 13-yard line.
And it's Donald Butler. So Butler dealt with an injury in that first half. He appears to be okay now, though, and walking off on his own power. But we're going to step aside. Just underway, second half at Qualcomm. On a 2nd and 9 play to Ray Rice, 2-yard carry to the 20. The issue with Butler, groin injury in that first half, trying to play with the injury to start this second half, and that's going to be a no-go for Butler.
Yeah, they wrapped him up at halftime, and you can see here he is, number 56. That left leg, you can see the wrap through his pants, and I'd be real surprised if we see him anymore this afternoon.
Yeah, Butler has been a playmaker for this San Diego defense this season, a very physical third-year linebacker out of Washington. 3rd and 7 now for Baltimore. No offense to speak of here today for the Ravens. Flacco in stride. He's got Torrey Smith, and Smith breaks a tackle. Now trying to bust to the clear. Torrey Smith caught from behind. Inside the San Diego 30, Marcus Gilchrist helping to save a touchdown.
Well, Marcus Gilchrist missed the tackle originally. They would have had Smith short of the first down, but Smith working on from across the field here. Gilchrist in tight coverage, but Smith pulls away and then uses all that speed to get down the field before Gilchrist can catch up.
So new set of downs for Baltimore. It's Ray Rice brought down by Lynch. 2-yard gain for Rice. So Corey Lynch in for Atari Bigby, who left this game with a groin injury. Gilchrist now on the San Diego sideline. "54 yards, the longest offensive play of the year for the Baltimore Ravens. Topping the previous mark of 52. 2nd and 8 now for the Ravens. Play fake. Flacco flings it to the end zone, incomplete. Dennis Pitta and Quan Bolden also deep for the Ravens. So now a 3rd and 8 for Baltimore after the big play, trying to make it stick, keep this drive going.
Well, it was such a good job of Torrey Smith getting away from the bump, and then the explosion after the catch. He was about 3 yards short of the first down when he made that catch. He had the previous long play of those 52 yards you were talking about, Ian.
Ravens had just 200 yards of offense last week in the win over Pittsburgh. Jones had a 63-yard punt return for a touchdown. That turned out to be the difference. They trailed 10-0. In the pocket, Flacco throws it away. So the pressure once again coming on Joe Flacco. Antoine Barnes among those providing the heat on Flacco.
Go back to the 54-yarder to Torrey Smith. Here he is lined up right here, and Gilchrist is right with him. He's going to cross the field here, and when he makes the catch, he's going to be a good 3 yards short of the first down. Breaks the tackle there of Lynch, but good hustle by Gilchrist to finally catch him. Gilchrist came on the blitz that time. That forced Flacco to throw the ball away.
Rookie out of Texas, Justin Tucker, having a tremendous season. This from 43 yards away, and he splits the uprights. Baltimore is on the board. 12:19 to go in this 3rd quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. T. Rowe Price, understanding the connections of a complex global economy. Invest with confidence. And by the all-new Honda Accord. It starts with you.
Now this season has been a little bit like a roller coaster ride for the San Diego Chargers at Belmont Park at Mission Beach, right off the water. You all right?
Yeah.
You got a little woozy?
Get me off of this thing. Stop.
Oh, it's over. Ravens kick it off. Deep man is Carr. He'll take a knee. Chargers will have it at the 20-yard line. First possession of the second half for San Diego. And tomorrow, when 2 broke girls get a business opportunity, they'll do anything to make it happen. Catch a new episode tomorrow only. CBS. Saw some Ravens fans made their way to the West Coast. Baltimore could use as many fans as they can get on the road. 3-2. Losses in Philadelphia, in Houston. San Diego with a 10-3 lead. 169 yards of offense in the first half for the Chargers. Ryan Matthews sticks the helmet down, 4-yard gain. McLean the stop as we head to New York and check in with JB.
Boy, Drew Brees would like to have this one back.
Yes, JB, up 14-7, but Drew Brees gets a little greedy, and Ahmad Brooks makes him pay the ultimate price, a 50-yard INT return for a touchdown to tie the ball game up 14-14 at the half.
Ian and Dan.
All right, JB and Shannon will be checking in with you in the second half, keeping us updated what's going on around the NFL. This is a 10-3 San Diego lead, 11:40 to play in the 3rd quarter. Ravens trying to move to 9-2 on the season. Chargers trying to stay in the playoff hunt. Rivers is sacked, and it's Arthur Jones. Jones getting the start for the injured Purnell, McPhee, and Jones makes his way to the quarterback. 5th sack for Baltimore here today.
Number 97 is Jones as he goes around Rex Hadnot. Remember, Hadnot filling in for Tyrone Green at left guard there. Jones just relentless. Rivers looked like he's trying to throw that ball away, but he was ruled down before he released the ball.
And first sack of the season for Arthur Jones. We have had 8 sacks today combined from 8 different players. Shotgun on a 3rd and 13. Set up the screen. Ronnie Brown to the outside. Not enough for a first down. San Diego will punt.
And this is a real good start to the second half for the Ravens. Opening drive, they go down to get 3 points, and then 3 plays and out forced by their defense. How big was that sack by Arthur Jones as the Chargers now have to punt the ball right back to Jacoby Jones.
So Jones is in there. Cyphers will punt it. Jones standing at his own 25-yard line for Baltimore. Turnovers yet to be an issue here. Baltimore comes in plus 12 turnover differential. That's tied for second in the NFL behind New England. An amazing plus 24. Again, it bounces up high. Jones retreats and gets back some of that yardage work on the sideline. The Mario Williams makes the play on special teams. A 7-point lead for San Diego. It shows you that the separation is not that vast in the AFC from upper level to wild card contention and beyond. Cleveland beating Pittsburgh today. San Diego leading Baltimore. And it's Pierce, Bernard Pierce, zigzagging his way out across the 40-yard line. Corey Lynch making the tackle down low for San Diego. That's a 12-yard rip for Pierce, the rookie out of Temple.
Well, and it's a missed tackle by Eric Weddle. Weddle comes up 32 there, misses the tackle on Pierce in the backfield. Another missed tackle for the Chargers. Remember, it was the Torrey Smith 54-yarder. He got away from Marcus Gilchrist. So 2 missed tackles here in the second half by the Chargers are really hurting them.
Ravens trying to establish something here. They trail 10-3, 9:37 to go in this third quarter. Flacco to throw it. He won't. He's sacked again. Firing through the combination, Jared Johnson to Keo Spikes.
Yeah, a couple of veterans, 10-year veteran Jared Johnson, former Raven. Here's Spikes, and here comes Johnson right up the middle as well. Again, it's really a creative blitz there designed by John Pagano.
Jared Johnson, 9 years with Baltimore. He played in 129 straight games with the Ravens. That's a team record. San Diego just offered him a lot of money. 4 years, $19 million deal. That's why he left. He was very happy in Baltimore, but too good an opportunity to pass up. 2nd and 20 now. Handoff. Pierce, patient. But so is the San Diego defense. Flying to the football.
That just shows you how important sacks are. They just have a way of creating instant momentum for a defense.
Andrew Gatchkar, second year out of Missouri.
So in 2 plays, the Ravens going backwards, losing 13 yards in 2 plays.
And now sets up a 3rd and 23 for Baltimore. Fans trying to get involved here at Qualcomm. 7-point lead for the Chargers. Flacco deep drop out of the pocket. Flacco dials up a deep ball down the sideline and out of bounds. Even if Dobbs made the catch, Quentin Jammer had done a good job of sealing up that area. And Flacco led him too much towards the sideline.
This is twice that Flacco's thrown the ball deep. Once in the first half that has sailed on him. And this one, as you said, Ian, if it's caught by Doss, he's a good 2 yards out of bounds. Flacco running out of the pocket there, trying to throw on the run, giving his receiver a chance, but couldn't keep it in bounds.
So a drive that began with promise after the Pierce run ends on a 4th and 23 and a punt for Cook. Chris Carr at the 25, backs up to the 22. Carr makes his move across the 30-yard line, and that's where he's brought down after the 50-yard punt by Cook. Phillip Rivers, 156 yards through the air and a touchdown. He'll be on the field of the Chargers offense when we come back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go. And by This Is 40, the sort of sequel to Knocked Up, in theaters this Christmas.
Beautiful day here in San Diego. What else is new? 10-3, Chargers leading the Ravens in the third quarter. San Diego with the football, just under 8 minutes to play from the 33. Touchdown pass was from Rivers to Floyd in the first half, and now Rivers flushed out of the pocket, and he throws it away. Those are piling up for Rivers as Suggs and Nada put on the heat. Nobody knows the game like a quarterback. Break down all the NFL action on NFL Monday QB. That's tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern, only on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports.
That's about 6 throwaways now for Phillip Rivers. Been sacked too many times today. He's getting tired of that pounding, so he's escaping the pocket maybe a little early, getting rid of the ball.
2nd and 10 now for the Chargers. Play fake. Rivers set it up for Randy McMichael, and a modest gain for McMichael of 5 yards brings up 3rd and 5 for San Diego.
Well, Baltimore doing a good job of keeping Antonio Gates in check. Gates has 1 catch on the day. McMichael, the backup tight end, with 2. Between the two of them, over 1,000 catches in the NFL.
San Diego is 1 of 8 on 3rd downs today. This is a 3rd and 5 now for the Chargers.
And that 1 of 8 was a pass to Gates.
Working out of the gun. Play clock down to 3. Rivers, the pressure is too much. Arthur Jones again for Baltimore. Jones getting an opportunity because of injury. He's been part of the rotation, but getting the start, and he's got 2 sacks for John Harbaugh and company.
Well, here he is right here. Let's check him out. Hadnot is 67. You can see that Harris has to come out here for Suggs, and just inside power rush on Hadnot for Arthur Jones. Gets it his 2nd sack of the day and the season.
Jones, 6'3", 315 pounds, originally from Endicott, New York. Big punt, Cyphers. Jacoby Jones fields it at the 14. Jones with a cut and short of the 25-yard line. That's where Baltimore will take over. Demario Williams with another hit on special teams. San Diego holding on to a 10-3 lead here in the 3rd. It's been a major dry spell for the Baltimore offense. Last 8 quarters, 3 points, 17 punts. And they take over at the 24-yard line after the 56-yard punt by Cyphers. Bootleg. Flacco circles and throws. Incomplete. Torrey Smith, the intended target for Baltimore, and Corey Liuget over there defensively, putting a little pressure on Flacco. Coming up tonight on 60 Minutes, Lara Logan travels to Africa with legendary filmmakers to show you big cats like you've never seen them before. 60 Minutes tonight.
Since Flacco hit that long pass to Torrey Smith, he's been 0 for 4, including that one. Great coverage on that bootleg by the Chargers. Nowhere to go with the ball.
2nd and 10. Back to the ground game. Rice through a hole. Rice out across the 30-yard line for a 7-yard gain as we head to New York. NFL Today update, JB and Shannon.
Colin Kaepernick wants the job, Shannon.
Yes, JB, 49ers get a touchdown right before the half on the INT, and this one, Frank Gore into the end zone, 6-yard reception, 21-14, Niners on top of the Saints.
Ooh, Ian, Dan, back to you guys.
JB and Shannon, Dan saw it in person on Monday night. Colin Kaepernick and the life that he brought to that San Francisco offense.
Gets the ball down the field with great touch and anticipation.
3rd and 3 now. Flacco Hits the right man, and another broken tackle. Torrey Smith. Good effort by Smith. Quentin Jammer over there, and Smith is limping.
That was the same play that got the big long one on. It was a little crossing route. Chargers this time were in a zone defense. He's passed off by Weddle. Gachkar comes up, can't make the tackle. Again, it would have been short of the first down for the Ravens, but bigger concern is the limping Torrey Smith as he goes out to his position.
They'll be matched up with Kaysen on the outside, and a new set of downs for Baltimore. We're under 5 minutes to go in the third. Flacco pats the ball. Dump off. Ray Rice. And Rice explodes across midfield. Antoine Kaysen makes that stop. It's a 12-yard gain on the catch and run by Rice.
Well, and it was a one-man screen led by Matt Burke, the center. Watch Burke get out here. He's going to get rid of his man. Good block on the outside by Ja Reed as well, but it was Burke's block on Gachkar that got Rice out to midfield.
Well, the issue earlier with Torrey Smith, and now Smith is on the Baltimore sideline. Right up the gut for Rice, and he grinds it across the 45 for a 6-yard pickup. Kaysen again in on the stop for San Diego. Now Baltimore has got something going in San Diego territory.
Yeah, and this is what John Harbaugh told us about. He says ultimately they'll be the kind of team that can beat you in a variety of ways, and they're going to have to do that to San Diego today. It's been a good second half so far for the Ravens.
And you asked him flat out, where's your edge in this game? He said solid, fundamental play, running between the tackles, avoiding those 3-and-outs and turnovers. And physical, you mentioned it earlier. Bernard Pierce, they want to make this an AFC North style game. They don't want to try to go up and down the field with the San Diego Chargers. 3-yard gain for Pierce.
And that 3-yard gain right up the middle. They have quit trying to go wide on San Diego. And when you go up the middle like that, it really sets up your play-action passing game, because the linebacker's first step has to be towards the line of scrimmage, and that allows receivers like the tight ends to work their way over the middle to get open.
This is now a 3rd and 1 for Baltimore, just short of the 40-yard line. It's a pitch. Pierce takes it to the outside. Pierce, he hurdles across the 25, extra yardage. So they have been taking it up the middle, working the gut, and then they pop it to the perimeter.
Well, watch the block there by Vontae Leach on Demario Williams, and then the effort by Pierce. Well, this is real close to being a real disaster play for Pierce. Weddle just gets enough to get him off his feet.
Had that ball in the right hand and easily could have been lodged loose by Weddle. 1st and 10 now inside the 25. Rice is back in there. Rice keeps on going. Could have been a loss. Instead, he turns it into a 4-yard gain, brought down by Lynch for the Chargers.
And he broke the tackle of Abrayo Franklin in the backfield. Again, we're seeing Chargers missing tackles, and the extra effort put forth by the Ravens is really paying off.
It's a thigh bruise for Torrey Smith. His return is probable for Baltimore. Ball spotted just inside the 20-yard line now. First time in the red zone today for either team. You know, obviously the touchdown to Floyd, but that ball was outside of the 20. 2nd and 6. Rice, stutter step, so low to the ground. Ray Rice to Keo Spikes. And Kaysen and Bolden exchanging words at the end of the play. 1:18 to go in this third quarter.
And they both quit shoving at just the right time as the officials are coming in, waiting for that fatal blow, perhaps.
Torrey Smith trying to test that thigh on the Baltimore sideline. 3rd and 1, Flacco. Jones indicating that Baltimore did enough for the first down. Do the officials agree?
I think the official on the near side agrees, but not by much. No, this is going to be short of the first down. He needed to get to the 23-yard line. Looks like he's about 6 inches short. They get the 13-yard line, huh?
So Joe Flacco tosses the ball at the official. And now they're going to measure this thing to see whether or not Baltimore's drive will continue. Didn't get it.
Yeah, but if I'm Baltimore, I go for it here. They've got the momentum. They've been able to get yardage between the tackles. And this is the decision Harbaugh's going to go with. Bringing in the big guys.
4th and inches. John Pagano's defense trying to hold their ground here against Baltimore.
Brian McKinney, extra offensive lineman in the game. Vontae Leach, the great blocking fullback. And Pierce, the tailback.
Fans on their feet. 4th and inches now for Baltimore, trailing by a touchdown. Leach will shift over now to the other side. On 4th down, Pierce gets it. Pierce is denied.
Corey Liuget with a great play. Really questioned trying to go wide against this Charger defense. Flacco changed the play at the line of scrimmage. He moved Leach over to the right side. Kendall Reyes with the play as well. Here's Reyes. Here is Liuget right here in the middle. And Liuget with a great job of finding the opening. Nobody blocks number 94. Huge play for John Pagano's defense.
An 11-play drive covering 60 yards and nothing to show for it for Baltimore. 30 seconds to play now in the 3rd from the 16-yard line. Matthews shedding tacklers. Matthews towards the outside. It's an 8-yard gain. Bernard Pollard with that stop for Baltimore.
You know, in that situation, you would like to see Ray Rice in the game as your tailback instead of a rookie. Pierce has had a fine day at that 18-yard run on this drive, but on a 4th and just inches, with Flacco changing the play, Pierce was stopped in the backfield.
Final play of this 3rd quarter. San Diego holding on to a 10-3 lead over Baltimore. We'll return after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47. Outstanding defensive play. Corey Liuget among those there for San Diego to stuff Pierce. San Diego takes over now after that 8-yard play. Final play of the 3rd quarter. First play of the 4th quarter. And it's Matthews for a first down. 3-yard gain for Matthews, hit by Jameel McClain. You can vote to send your favorite players to the 2013 Pro Bowl in Hawaii. Vote online or with your mobile device, NFL.com/Pro Bowl, or you can text Pro Bowl to my NFL. You vote, they play. So Joe Flacco and the Baltimore Ravens finally had something going offensively and could not convert on that 4th and inches. Stick with the ground game. Pitch. Matthews trying to take it outside. He was met there by Pollard. Philip Rivers had very high praise for Pollard. He believes he's improved a great deal from his Kansas City and Houston days.
Yeah, he likes the way that he compliments Ed Reed. Pollard's always been a big hitter. And we're also seeing now the coordination in the secondary. A couple of veterans there. So important to get the corners lined up, especially with Lardarius Webb out. That improvement at the corner has been big for Baltimore.
Ed Reed appealed that 1-game suspension earlier in the week, had it overturned, eventually fined $50,000. Rivers throws. Great effort. It's Floyd with a clean catch. And a first down for San Diego. Cary Williams in coverage. It covers 13 yards. J.B. Shannon standing by. NFL Today update.
An opportunistic defense, Shannon.
Yes, Drew Brees throws the ball high. It's going to be tipped by Marcus Colston, picked off by Dante Whitner, and he has reservations for 6 in the French Quarter. Runs it back, 28-14. 49ers are all over the Saints.
All right, back to the bird and the beard.
All right, JB, thank you. Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, the rest of our CBS crew here in Southern California. 10-3, San Diego leading Baltimore. We are in the 4th quarter. Chargers Matthews won't go down. A couple of spins by Matthews across the 45. Finally, it's Pollard and Graham. Defensively, 6.5-yard gain for Matthews. Here's the previous play.
Yeah, great effort by Floyd to lay out. Matthews backs it up with a great effort on that run up the middle. Rivers glad that third quarter was over. Chargers just got 7 yards, but have the ball out near midfield now because of superior effort by Floyd and then Matthews.
We asked Philip Rivers about the mental state of the team. He said, look, Chargers are just trying to battle through and win a game. Excellent mindset on this squad. There is no quit. He felt it was a very loose week, and there's a feeling on the team right now of just let it rip.
Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty, second down.
And that's a rookie at left tackle, Mike Harris, called on the penalty. Another update. JB and Shannon standing by.
Hey, Ian, Dan Fouts can appreciate this hookup.
Sam Bradford is getting hot. Chris Givens, 37 yards on the receiving end of this touchdown, and they're up in front, 21-17 over the Cards.
Did you drop it in the basket, Dan? Absolutely. Back to Ian and Dan.
Well, we saw the Rams last week. They couldn't get anything going offensively.
Yeah, but I like Givens, man. He is something else. I like Bradford, too.
2nd and 8 now for the Chargers. After the penalty, out of the gun. Rivers does get rid of it with the pressure coming. And look who it is, running back Jackie Battle. Battle is not a guy that catches a lot of balls.
Yeah, that's just his 8th of the season, but he's made a couple big plays for the Chargers, converting at 4th down, and then on this play where it looks like he didn't have a whole lot when he first caught the ball out in the flat here. He's a humble guy, you know that, don't you, Ian?
Well, he's from Humble, Texas. As you know, the H is silent, Dan. You don't forget anything, do you? First down now in Baltimore territory. Play fake. Rivers, deep ball. Alexander took a shot.
Yeah, they're going to get Pollard for a hit on a defenseless player here.
So the flag is down as Alexander went for the ball in a jump ball scenario that was very high.
You can see Alexander wearing a brace on that left knee. You talked about all the surgeries he had on it. But Pollard came over. Alexander was out of bounds. The ball was out of bounds. It was uncatchable. Pollard, of course, couldn't tell that. He's looking at the ball and coming in.
Now that knee brace is creeping out in between the pants and the socks of Alexander. Harbaugh wants an explanation.
Rivers took another big shot, too, as he got rid of this ball.
This is a long discussion by the officials. Not a lot of penalties today. 3 against Baltimore, 3 against San Diego. Gene Steratore.
Personal foul. Leading with the helmet to a defenseless receiver. Defense number 31. 15-yard penalty. Automatic. First down.
So it will be Pollard, who has got the reputation as a hard hitter. We know what Ed Reed just went through after the 1-game suspension was overturned, but it was for repeated violations. Hits to the head and the neck area. It's something the NFL is focusing in on. And Pollard is the second man through. Rivers took a shot himself from Kruger.
Yeah, Kruger gets a legal shot on the quarterback, and Pollard gets the penalty for, you could see that Alexander was stretched out, totally defenseless, and out of bounds, as was the ball.
Alexander remains in there, and this is a potential game changer. 1st and 10 now inside the 35 of Baltimore. On a ball that was not going to be caught. Handoff. Matthews runs into a brick wall. 2-yard gain for Matthews. McClain there for Baltimore. NFL Today update. JB and Shannon.
Well, no give up in the game of Drew Brees.
No, JB. After a big play by Lance Moore, Drew Brees finds his fullback, Jed Collins, into the corner of the end zone. 2 yards, 28-21. Niners on top of the Saints.
A lot of games still remaining. Back to Ian and Dan.
Saints have handled their business against San Francisco, having won 6 straight regular season games versus the 49ers. This is obviously a different 49er team, though, with John's brother Jim Harbaugh at the helm. Matthews Unable to squeeze through that area. Upshaw and McLean collaborate on the stop. Cody lost his helmet on the play.
Be an interesting call now for Norv Turner because he's thinking about, getting a field goal to increase the lead back to 10 points. But I wonder, where has Antonio Gates been? Only been targeted once this afternoon. Chargers on third down have been absolutely horrible so far, just 1 of 9.
3rd and 6. 9:44 to go. Timeout called by the Ravens.
First charge timeout, Baltimore.
Baltimore will have 2 timeouts remaining and a 3rd down when we come back.
Confusion in the secondary. Corey Graham is going to be heading this way inexplicably. Here's 3 receivers here plus Gates. They're going to be totally outnumbered. Harbaugh sees it on the sideline and calls timeout. Heads up by John Harbaugh. Same formation for San Diego line.
And a 3rd and 7 now for the Chargers. Kruger roaming, and now backs off a bit on 3rd down. They go conservative, and it works. Ronnie Brown picks the right spot and accelerates for a 1st down.
And who had the key block was Antonio Gates, blocking on the defensive end. Watch Gates right here. The ball's going to come right inside him. He gets the block on Upshaw. And Hadnot out in front with the interference for Brown. Huge 1st down for San Diego.
His first carry of the day, and it moves the chains for the Chargers. We're down to 9:06 to go in this 4th quarter. Ryan Matthews is in there. He'll get the call. Matthews tried to make a cut, and he cannot. It's Jones who has been outstanding for Baltimore defensively, a loss of 1.
Yeah, Jones is just showing great quickness. Here he is, number 97. Watch him jump inside Gates this time. Come off the double team between Gates and Clary and get Matthews in the backfield. What a play by Arthur Jones.
Brother Chandler not doing a bad job for New England, by the way. One of the top defensive rookies in the league. 2nd and 11. This drive has lasted more than 7 minutes for the Chargers. We're coming up on 8 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Shotgun pump. Rivers has time. Looks downfield. Nobody open. Rivers will float one out of bounds. Pressure again. Arthur Jones. But everybody was covered in the end zone.
Boy, he had a lot of time, too, to figure it out. Watch this receiver here. And then down the middle, he's covered. In the corner, he's covered. It's just a 3-man route for San Diego. That's why Rivers had all that time to look. He had 7 guys blocking for him. That's his 7th throwaway of the game. No interceptions for Rivers. Good decision again.
Big play on this drive. The hit from Bernard Pollard that was flagged. Denario Alexander. Play clock was winding down. They just get it off. Rivers out of the pocket. Low throw. Brown digging down to get it. And Brown out along the sideline after the 5-yard gain. The field goal unit will come on with Nick Novak.
You can't blame Rivers for getting out of the pocket. He's been sacked 6 times today. And what an effort here by Brown. That ball right around his ankles. And that will set up a very makeable chip shot for Nick Novak.
30-yard field goal for Novak to extend the San Diego lead. Hit one from 47 yards away earlier today. .30-yard attempt for Novak. He knocks it through. 13-3 Chargers in front. 7:51 remaining. We're in the 4th quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Assassin's Creed 3. Only PlayStation 3 gives you 4 exclusive missions, rated M for mature. Lego. Build a moment together. One Lego brick at a time. And by Cadillac, the standard of the world.
Ice skating just outside the Del Coronado coming up, time permitting, after the game. Subway postgame show. JB and the rest of the crew. Latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up. The Subway postgame show.
Ice skating in shorts.
You like that, huh?
I tell you what, the electric bill there's got to be unbelievable.
Kickoff from Novak to Jacoby Jones, and he's not going to get an opportunity here. Back to the ice skating. What month is it again?
It's winter in San Diego.
13-3, San Diego leading Baltimore. Fans getting into it here. Someone's got to tell that first little guy that the Chargers are winning. No reason to be so glum. Flacco underneath the curl, Jacoby Jones. And a flag is thrown back at the 14-yard line. 12-yard gain. Gene Steratore sorting it out.
Illegal use of hands. Hands to the face. Defense. Number 54. Penalty has declined. Result of the play. First down.
So the penalty will work against San Diego's Melvin Ingram.
And this is a key play. Last drive, Corey Liuget slices into the backfield to drop Pierce for a loss on 4th down.
They did not have Ray Rice on there for a 4th down or a Flacco quarterback sneak. Rice unable to secure it, looking to run before he caught it.
Well, he did. He took his eyes off this ball. He knew he had something. The defense went by him. The screen was set up perfectly. And Rice with an uncharacteristic mistake there. This might have been a big play. Watch Rice come out on the screen. He's got Ja Reed out in front of him. And Burke. That play worked well in the last series.
The 4th Baltimore drop of the day. You think back to early in the season, it looked like this was going to be a dynamic offense. They were putting up points in bunches. 44 against Cincinnati. Put up 31 against New England. 31 against Dallas. Ray Rice just across the 35. Gatchkar with the tackle, 4-yard gain.
They just keep coming back to the troubles on the road for the Baltimore Ravens. Remarkable numbers.
Also early in the season, it seemed like Cam Cameron and Joe Flacco were in sync. It looked like Cameron was allowing Flacco to do a little bit more. In past years, they had said they had kind of held him back. 3rd and 6 now. Flacco. He drops it in the bucket to Jones. And a first down into San Diego territory at the 40. Gilchrist and Lynch in coverage. That's 24 yards on the hookup.
And that's always been Flacco's strength. He's getting the ball down the field. That time with great touch to get it over the linebackers and drop it into Jones's hands.
We will hit the 6.5-minute mark of this 4th quarter. Baltimore down by 10 here in San Diego. 1st and 10 at the 40. Shotgun. Flacco gets rid of it quickly. Makes the connection with Jones. 7-yard gain. Antoine Cason out there for the Chargers.
Earlier in the season, they did do exactly what they're doing now, changing the tempo, getting to the line of scrimmage, no huddle. They started the game out this way. Didn't have much success, but they are having that success now.
And a 2nd and 3 for the Ravens. Flacco now 15 of 28, 175 yards. No touchdowns, no picks. Flacco. He hits Smith. Torrey Smith is drilled after the catch. Eric Weddle.
A late flag, too, thrown in.
So the penalty marker is thrown at the 23-yard line. It is right at the first down marker.
See the reaction of the Charger players. Not good for the San Diego team. Looks like it's going to be against San Diego.
Gene Steratore having a detailed conversation with back judge Dino Paganelli.
They may call pass interference against the Ravens. Looked like Anquan Bolden went down and blocked one of the defensive backs. I think they're going to get. He's going to get the flag for this one. He took Gilchrist to the ground.
Steratore also hearing from the umpire Bill Schuster.
The Fans are booing now, but they're going to be clapping here real soon. I hope.
Here's Steratore.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense number 81. This foul occurred after the play. The result of the play was a first down for Baltimore. After the 15-yard penalty, it will be 1st and 10, Baltimore.
So it's Anquan Bolden, unnecessary roughness after the play.
The receiver is down here, and then there's the shot to Gilchrist. That's unnecessary roughness.
5:45 to play. Back it up to the 45-yard line. You have the defensive penalty on Pollard. That was a killer. And now the unnecessary roughness on veteran Anquan Bolden to set the Ravens back. Flacco unloads to Torrey Smith. Smith across the 25. Hit by Lynch for San Diego. That's a 22-yard pass play.
Well, and getting the ball out of his hands quickly is the key now for Flacco. He's not holding it. The pass rush isn't getting anywhere near him, and he's putting the ball on the money.
So another first down for Baltimore. Counted down to the 5-minute mark of this fourth quarter. 10-point disparity. Flacco, sideline. Curl upfield. Smith inside the 10. Quentin Jammer with a hit.
Well, Jammer's bailing out, looking for the fade route down the sidelines. And a good sharp route by Torrey Smith. He obviously is over that thigh bruise he had earlier in the ball game. And everything that man's calling, Cam Cameron, is working now for Flacco and the Ravens.
1st and goal at the 9. You question, where was this earlier in the game? Movement. Ravens pointing to Antonio Garay of the Chargers.
But it appeared Garay got back when Marshall Yanda came up out of his stance to point at him. This is going to be an interesting call here.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 71 was in a neutral zone, causing the offense to false start.
Heads up by
Yanda.
Yanda.
Distance to the goal. First down.
Really heads up by Yanda. Here's Garay right here. On the other side is Yanda. Watch Garay just into the neutral zone there, and then Yanda comes up out of his stance.
1st and goal now inside the 5 for the Ravens. Flacco out of the gun. He sends Rice to the outside. Flacco throws. Caught. Touchdown. Dennis Pitta. Ravens climbing back into it. Extra point away from making this a 3-point game with 4:19 to go.
Yeah, remember, Donald Butler is out with a groin injury. Andrew Gatchkar is replacing him. Here's Gatchkar. Here is Pitta. And right by Gatchkar goes Pitta for a real easy reception in the back of the end zone.
So Tucker on for the point after. Joe Flacco delivers on a touchdown to Pitta. 9 plays, 80 yards for the Baltimore Ravens. Three-point game. Just over 4 minutes to play. Flacco in complete control during that drive that gets the score to his tight end.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by NFL Mobile from Verizon. Built to bring you the game. And by Subway Restaurants. Get your own tender, juicy Subway steak melt today.
Coming up, time permitting, after the game, the Subway postgame show, JB and Company, NFL scores, highlights, it's all coming up on the Subway postgame show. So the Ravens go 9 plays, 80 yards. It took 3 minutes and 32 seconds. Pitta, the 4-yard touchdown reception. They don't have to onside kick there. There's still plenty of time because they do have the 2 remaining timeouts. 4:19 to play. Tucker kicks it off. Carr backpedals and not going to take any chances. Takes a knee. Eddie Royal is out, so that's why Carr is in there on returns. Playoff picture in the AFC. Baltimore is at 8-2. Trailing Houston at 10-1. New England 8-3 after the Thursday night win. Denver is 8-3. Victory had to come from behind against Kansas City. And then the wild card, Indianapolis. Pittsburgh loses today. Cincinnati wins 6-5. Miami wins 5-6. And there is San Diego at 4-6 with games coming up against Cincinnati and Pittsburgh.
And you're always looking for that first round bye. That's why it's so important this game for Baltimore. Not only to keep ahead in the AFC North, but in the AFC period.
3-point lead for the Chargers. Rivers, dump off over the middle. Matthews falls forward for a 3.5-yard gain. McClellan and McLean bring him down.
Flacco was just near perfect on that last drive. Hit 7 of 8 on the drive. The only incompletion was the drop by Ray Rice on the screen pass.
Phillip Rivers on the day, 17 of 26, 192 yards and a touchdown. Will the Baltimore offense get another shot? We have 3:45 to play. 2nd and 7 for San Diego. Rivers looks to the outside. Incomplete. He tried to hit Alexander. Almost an acrobatic grab, but Corey Graham there defensively for Baltimore to help break it up.
Boy, he was real close to pass interference out here on Graham. Looked like he made contact before the ball got there. But the officials are letting both these teams play today. We've seen a number of calls that have not been made. That could have been made.
So now 3rd and 7 for the Chargers. 3:34 to go. Operating out of the gun. They back off. 3-man rush. Rivers. He hits Ronnie Brown, but it's going to be short of a first down. Brendan Ayanbadejo riding him to the ground after the 3-yard gain. Ray Lewis and the rest of the Ravens on the sideline celebrating. A timeout has been taken by Baltimore with 3:25 to go.
Well, Dean Pease, the defensive coordinator for the Ravens, giving the look of a blitz. That kept all the receivers and the blockers in for Rivers. Brown sneaks out late against the zone coverage, but he had no chance of picking up that first down. Ayanbadejo right there to make the tackle. Rivers hates it. Ray Lewis on the other side loves it.
Well, Baltimore did exactly what they had to do. They keep San Diego's offense to a 3-and-out. They stop the clock with 3:25 to go. They're going to get the football with 3 minutes and change to work with, down by 3.
And Harbaugh talked about it, that ultimately he thinks this is be the kind of team that can beat you in a variety of ways. This would qualify.
So Baltimore still has 1 timeout remaining and the 2-minute warning. The punt from Cyphers. Jones, the return man. Good punt once again. Jones looking for blockers. Jones turns the corner. Works the sideline, and Jones is brought down short of the 40-yard line. A 57-yard punt and a 23-yard return. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS has doubleheader action. First, Tom Brady and the Patriots take on the Dolphins. Andrew Luck leads the surprising Colts against the Lions. Then the Steelers rumble with the Ravens. It all starts with the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines at noon Eastern here on CBS.
Because of the injury to Mike Wint, the Chargers' long snapper Kyle Nelson was activated and signed, and he had a chance to make a tackle on Jacoby Jones on the sidelines, could not do it, and Jones gets all the way out to the 40-yard line.
Dan, San Diego had the ball for just a minute 10. Baltimore has 3:09 to work with in their best field position of the day. Flacco, that ball fluttered on him. Tandon Das, the intended receiver, it's incomplete.
Well, it looked like he was tipped at the line of scrimmage by Reyes.
And this is what's coming up for Baltimore. The rematch with Pittsburgh, then at Washington. Home for Denver, the Giants at Cincinnati. Tough schedule coming up for the Ravens. Ravens down by 3. 3:04 left. 2nd and 10 for Baltimore at its own 40-yard line. Flacco rifles. He's got a first down. Dennis Pitta into San Diego territory. Brought down just inside the 45. It covers 16 yards. Gatchkar with the stop in for the injured Donald Butler.
And Pitta had been quiet until this fourth quarter. Caught a touchdown pass on the last possession, and here he's wide open. It's fourth catch of the day for Pitta, and that one gets the ball down to the Charger 44. They're getting close to Justin Tucker's field goal range.
And a San Diego injury, it is Gatchkar. So Gatchkar seeing playing time because Butler went down with a groin injury. And now it's Gatchkar that is being tended to. Pitta last week had just one catch for 5 yards, concussion-like symptoms, but passed his baseline test.
It looked like a knee injury for Gatchkar. Watch his left knee here as he hits the ground. And he got his legs caught up there with Pitta.
And Gatchkar is limping off. 7th round draft pick last year. He's been mostly on special teams for this San Diego squad, but forced into linebacking duty because of the injury to Butler. 2:38 to go.
DeMario Williams is a pretty good substitute. 9-year veteran. Came over to the Chargers in free agency from Kansas City. He's going to have to step up big time now. It looks like the Ravens are finding success going to Pitta.
2:33 and counting left in this fourth quarter. San Diego 13, Baltimore 10, and a 1st and 10 for the Ravens at the Chargers 44. Flacco a deep drop. Flacco sets up the screen. Ray Rice. And Rice is brought down by Leggett. A flag on the play.
Yeah, holding against the Ravens.
Holding. Offense, number 73. 10-yard penalty. First down.
And it's Marshall Yonda, and he wants an explanation. Yonda went to the Pro Bowl last year. Tough, smart player in his 6th season out of Iowa.
Well, here he is right up here as the right guard. Actually, he's working on the left side now.
So back it up for Baltimore at the 46-yard line. 6 penalties against the Ravens. Flacco. Oh, tight window!
Yeah.
Out of bounds.
I don't think Weddle had control of this ball.
Eric Weddle.
Like,
Anquan Bolden, the intended receiver.
looked like Weddle was bobbling it. Not sure he had possession and both feet inbounds. Great effort by both Bolden and Weddle.
Tremendous play, but he was out of bounds. Off the juggle, Weddle got his hands on it as he was falling down, and his body hit the white. He was out. 2nd and 20. Flacco, deep ball, over the head of everybody. Dennis Pitta was the target for Flacco. For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS, the game between the Ravens and the Chargers. Ian Eagle along with Dan Fouts, 13-10, San Diego leading Baltimore. 60 minutes will be seen immediately after the game, except on the West Coast, where it will be seen at its regularly scheduled time. They still need another 10 yards or so just to get 4th down to be manageable, because they're looking at a 3rd and 20. 4-down territory. Flacco! Ball was knocked loose. Antoine Barnes put the pressure.
Barnes got a sack earlier in the game. He had 4 sacks last year against his former team, and he raced around the corner, got to Flacco from the blind side, left side of the screen. Watch the right hand. That is a fumble. That ball is out. That should be challenged by San Diego here. like Orr got the ball anyway.
13-10, San Diego with 1:59 to go.
This was correctly ruled a fumble, recovered by Michael Orr. The Ravens need to get to about the 40-yard line here, so the Chargers ought to be defending this area, because that would put Tucker in range for a tying field goal.
Well, it's 4th down, though. They got to get a first down.
Absolutely.
Shotgun formation for Flacco. 1:59 to go. This is your ball game for Baltimore. Flacco in the pocket. Dump off. Rice has some room, but can he really get to that first down line? Rice stays on his feet. Oh, Ray Rice! Incredible! Ray Rice has done it, a first down for the Ravens with 1:40 to go. He needed 29 yards and he got 30.
And a couple of Chargers are slow to get up. But what about this effort here? I mean, we caught this ball. He was about 20 yards away from the first down line.
Anquan Boldin with a key block upfield. Injured Charger on the play. Eric Weddle. So this will be a charge timeout to San Diego. Meanwhile, Baltimore is alive with 1:37 to go.
This is Eric Weddle down, the Chargers Pro Bowl safety. Again, here is the line they need to get to for the first down, the 34-yard line. Watch where Rice comes out of the backfield when he catches this ball. There are 8 defenders for San Diego back here. Catches it at the 40. This is just an unbelievable effort. 3 Chargers converge there, can't make the tackle. There's the block on Weddle by Boldin. That was enough to get Rice the first down.
Dan, you make the stop, and the game's over. They only have 1 timeout remaining with under 2 minutes to go. So Ray Rice, his team needed 29 yards. He got 30 on a catch and run, a 4th down.
Yeah, that's the type of team that Ravens have constructed to build this 8-2 record.
They have found ways this year, even in games where they have not played their best, which would include today.
Well, there's Demario Williams, and Spike's missing. Gilchrist misses. Weddle comes over. He's got a good shot at him until Boldin takes him out. Almost took out Rice as well, but Rice has got such great balance, runs low to the ground, absorbs the hit.
They are reviewing the spot.
His knee hits down just shy of the 35-yard line. The ball is across the 35, maybe to the 34, which is what he needed to get to the first down.
A 1:37 to go. Eric Weddle is up. They're checking on him after taking that shot from Boldin.
Yeah, they're checking this review under last 2 minutes. We're taking a look at this upstairs.
It was called a first down on the field. They felt he got enough yardage on that initial spot. Now they're taking another look.
And the official chain marker is on the near side of the field.
Yeah, they gave him the first down.
They've already moved it. But in the replay, you go back, you can see exactly what he needed.
He had to get to the 34, so they gave him the first down by a yard. It's not like he got it by a couple of inches.
Right. Here's the first down marker right here. And he needs to get to about the 33.5-yard line.
So the knee is down just short of the 35, but the ball was extended. Here's the slow motion look up close.
There it is. The knee is down, but impossible to tell which yard line the ball is crossed from that angle. But they don't have enough evidence on the replay. This will stay as a first down because that's how they ruled it.
So either the Baltimore Ravens have a 1st and 10 at around the 34, 33.5-yard line, or they come up short, and that was 4th down, and the game is over. Baltimore only has one timeout remaining, 1:37 to go. Ray Rice, just a tremendous individual effort.
And remember, on the last time the Ravens went for it on 4th down, he was on the sidelines on a running play to Pierce. That's why he's always got to be in the lineup in clutch situations.
That was a 4th down and inches back in the 3rd quarter. It is very tough to tell as Rice does get across the 35. Does he get to the 34? We're showing you every angle that we have. They could respot this and then bring out the chains and measure it.
Remember, Ray Rice is only 5'8", so when he stretches out, there's not a whole lot to stretch out.
You see where momentum carried him with Antoine Cason on top of him.
And when the ball hit the ground, he had enough, but the ball, his knee was down before the ball actually hit the ground. So this is really going to be a tough one for Gene Steratore. He's still talking it over with his fellow officials near the replay machine.
And remember, they already moved the chains. So now to go back and remeasure.
That's what they're talking about right now, obviously. Where was the ball? Where were the chains? And where will we remark it and then remeasure it?
And look, by rule, we've understood the longer it takes in there, the more complicated the situation. And this is complicated. I mean, think about all the things at stake here with San Diego trying to stay in a playoff race in the wild card hunt of the AFC. Baltimore trying to maintain its lead for the number 2 seed in the AFC. Ray Rice, that extra effort, lunging forward. Even at the end there, he tried to scoot and get a couple
yards. Look at his eyes. I mean, he knows where that marker is. He's looking at the marker as he's going down. That's the kind of player you want to go to war with.
So Rice is down. Then he takes a peek at the sideline, and now Gene Steratore is ready to rule.
After review, the runner is down, short of where the ball is placed at this point.
Well, that's the first reaction.
Yeah.
There's more.
Yeah. The ball will be placed at the 33.5-yard line, and we will remeasure and decide and make the declaration as to whether it's a first down or not.
33.5 is enough for a first down.
Yeah, they marked it at the 33, right on it. Now they're moving it back. And then they'll bring the chains out.
And I think Norv Turner knows deep down that's still going to be enough.
Well, the question is, I mean, how accurate can they be with the chains now after they move them back to where they were previously?
Now, that's certainly not the 33.5 from this angle where they've placed the football.
Yeah, that's 33 2/3.
So now they will remeasure. Ray Rice, his facial reaction was as if, wait a second, this is not going to work out for the Ravens, but I still believe where they placed the football, where that original spot was, this should be enough.
Somebody said it's a game of inches, Ian.
Well, here it is. Either Baltimore continues on this drive or it's going to be over with 1:37 to play.
But they still haven't figured out where the chains are supposed to be on the sidelines now. So how can they bring it out and measure?
So this was on the play. You see where the first down marker was at the 34. To me, it's clear that the football where it's placed right now would be across that line and enough for this drive to remain alive.
They're going to have to go back and figure out where to put the down markers.
And Gene Steratore now having a conversation with Norv Turner.
Yeah, all the heat that Norv Turner's under here in San Diego. to have it come down to this. You can see the disappointment and frustration on his face.
Yeah, it's almost a look of resignation. Norv Turner very much on the hot seat. He does have another year left on his deal. Some were surprised that he was brought back this year after the way this team finished up last year. They have dropped 5 of their last 6 games, the Chargers.
Okay, here's the down marker they got to get to. And so, you know, you can draw a line here, and I'm not sure I can do that. The down marker on the other side, this is unofficial. It's at the 34. This is the official side, and this is where they're having trouble as they bring it out now.
I'm not sure how they can be exact here on this after they had moved the chains, giving Rice the first down. And now the measurement that everybody wants to see. Yeah, he got it by
plenty.
A lot. 1:37 to play.
Baltimore with just one timeout, but a lot of time. They're already in field goal range for Justin Tucker. He's hit 4 50-yard field goals this year, 51, 51, 54, and a long of 56.
I got to tell you, though, Dan, if you're the Baltimore Ravens, you're thinking touchdown now.
Absolutely.
You got plenty of time to work with. You've got it inside the 34 of the San Diego Chargers, and you're looking to get out of here with a win. We resume play with a 1st and 10 for the Ravens. 1:37 on the clock. I thought the referee said put it back to 1:40. Flacco tip ball, and it's caught. Jacoby Jones, and he's hit just behind the line of scrimmage by the Chargers. Melvin Ingram getting a piece.
Yeah, and if this ball's thrown an inch or two shorter, Ingram picks it off and he scores the other way.
So now 2nd and long for the Ravens. Down to 1:14 to play. From the gun, Flacco slings it underneath, catch made and buried at the 26-yard line. Jacoby Jones. It's Lynch and Spikes bringing him down. Tucker going through his routine. It's 3rd and 1 now with under a minute left. Shotgun formation for Flacco. 50 seconds to play. Running play for Rice. Rice gets down low, and he's got the first down. No doubt about it. Takeo Spikes with a tackle for San Diego. We've got 38 seconds to play. Baltimore has 1 timeout remaining. 30 seconds left. Baltimore trailing 13-10. Flacco. High throw to the end zone. It's over the head of Torrey Smith. Kaysen with coverage. 21 seconds left now in the 4th.
Yeah, the Chargers are forced to just rush 4 men at Flacco, drop 7 into coverage. That time it was a perfect coverage as Kaysen, playing the deep corner route, kept the ball out of the back of the end zone by Flacco, trying to get it to Torrey Smith.
21 seconds left. 2nd and 10 for the Ravens. Inside the San Diego 25. Handoff. Rice. Yonda lost his helmet. Melvin Ingram with the stop. And now the Ravens are just playing for the field goal. Tucker getting himself ready.
Tucker's only missed twice in 21 attempts this season.
Baltimore uses its timeout, the final one, with 3 seconds to play in regulation. So Justin Tucker, 20 of 22 on the season. He beat out Billy Cundiff for the job, rookie out of Texas, and he has been everything that the Ravens could have hoped for. Tucker did miss a 41-yard field goal in the 2nd quarter last week against Pittsburgh, and then came back to hit on a 39-yarder.
Now we'll see if Norv Turner will add a little ice to this attempt. Chargers have 2 timeouts.
38-yard attempt for Tucker, looking for the tie. Ravens trying to force overtime. Tucker He nails it. 13 all as time expires in regulation. We're going to overtime here in San Diego.
How about that effort by Ray Rice to pick up that? I don't think I've ever seen a play, fourth down, that led to this field goal by Tucker. So much yardage to get to. Not only when the ball snapped, but after the catch is made.
Well, that's it. It's 4th and 29. It's not like they threw it 30 yards. It's Ray Rice catching the ball and then making a worldly play. This is next level for Ray Rice.
And give Anquan Bolden a lot of credit, too, because he doesn't make this block on Weddle right there. Rice is 3 yards short of the first down and all that drama.
And a regulation at Qualcomm. Gene Steratore ready to set things up for OT.
Gentlemen, we are now moving into overtime. The rules of overtime, we will have a 15-minute quarter. Fourth quarter timing is in effect. All reviews will come from the booth. Each team will have 2 timeouts. Any score other than a field goal will end the game. Each team will have an opportunity to possess the football. Visiting captain, call the toss, please.
Tails.
The call is tails. It is a head. San Diego would like the ball. Which way would you like to kick? Say we are. San Diego will receive.
San Diego will have the football. Overtime when we come back with the Ravens and Chargers deadlocked at 13 apiece. The NFL on CBS. We've got overtime in San Diego. 1 15-minute quarter. Touchdown or a safety on the first possession wins the game if the score is tied after each team's first possession, meaning no scores or a field goal. The next score will win the game. 2 timeouts per team and only booth reviews here in the extra session.
Chargers really haven't been able to do anything offensively in the second half. Rivers completed 7 of 10, but for just 47 yards. Chargers have got to get something going. They've lost all their momentum that they had built up in that first half, and it was stolen by Ray Rice's great effort on that 4th down.
And now will be Tucker kicking it off after San Diego won the toss. Overtime at Qualcomm. Carr's going to take it out of the end zone. Carr tripped up just as he crossed the 15-yard line. Good special teams play down the field by Jackson. Game summary. Phillip Rivers to Floyd. San Diego strikes first on 4th down. Pierce was denied by the San Diego defense, but Flacco hits Pitta, and then this play. All-world effort by Ray Rice to get 30 yards on a 4th and 29, leading to the Tucker field goal at the end of regulation.
One of the great efforts you'll ever see by Ray Rice.
San Diego with the football from the 16-yard line. As we open overtime in Southern California, Rivers on a give. Matthews gets stonewalled by McClain. 2-yard gain for Matthews. Don't forget, 60 Minutes is coming up immediately following our broadcast, except on the West Coast, where it will be seen at its regularly scheduled time.
Matthews jumped over his pulling guard, Rex Hadnot, and was airborne when McClain met him and dropped him. Never want to leave your feet if you can help it.
18 carries, 70 yards for Matthews. 2nd and 8 now for the Chargers. Just underway in overtime. Rivers guns it. Drop ball. McMichael. It's 3rd and 8 for the Chargers.
Yeah, I think McMichael thought he needed to get up the field after the catch, and again guilty of taking his eye off the ball. It was just a little bit short of the first down. It is right out here. Makes you wonder where Antonio Gates is. He was lined up on the other side of the field, but you can see just short of the first down. Took his eye off the ball.
3rd and long for San Diego. First possession of OT. On 3rd downs today, 2 of 12 for the Chargers. Rush is coming. Rivers stands tall in the pocket. Swings it to the outside, and Alexander First down, Chargers, just short of the 35, working against Cary Williams.
And good protection. The Ravens brought Corey Graham on the blitz from the slot. That left man-to-man coverage on the outside. Good route by Alexander. 14 yards and a huge 14. And finally, a conversion on third down for San Diego.
Touchdown wins the game for San Diego. A field goal, and Baltimore will get possession. New set of downs for the Chargers to work with. Rivers, the quick hitter. Alexander. And hit just short of the 39-yard line by Corey Graham. 5.5-yard gain for Alexander. What's at stake here? Baltimore's at 8-2, trying to keep pace with the Houston Texans and hold off New England and Denver among the division leaders. Wild card, San Diego with a win would improve to 5-6 and remain in the mix, with Indianapolis and Pittsburgh currently holding down the wild card spots in the AFC. Rivers is 20 of 31. He's got 215 yards and a touchdown. 2nd and 4 now for San Diego. Rivers gets rid of it. Diving attempt. Clean catch. Ajira Tutu. Five-yard gain.
We've seen some great effort. That's just picture perfect by Ajira Tutu. Rolls over. We can't see if he's got total possession of this ball. And everything is reviewed upstairs. There's no challenge in overtime.
And San Diego has it, a 1st and 10 at its own 44-yard line. Motion man, Ajira Tutu. Inside handoff. The veteran Ronnie Brown bangs his way on the interior of that line for 3 yards.
And that's a good call by Norv Turner. Draw play will always slow down the pass rush. Right now, the Chargers' main weapon is the forward pass. Rivers has been sacked 6 times in the game by the Ravens, but they haven't got close to him so far in this drive.
Chargers in a major funk. They've dropped 5 of their last 6 games. Just trying to keep this season going and play in competitive games the rest of the way, games that mean something for the Chargers. Norv Turner, there's something bigger at stake with his future. Shotgun formation, 2nd and 7. Rivers gets rid of it. This time it's Gates with the grab, just across midfield, but short of a first down as he's thrown down by Ian Badejo.
Yeah, that was a heck of a tackle by Ian Badejo, because it looked like Gates was going to pivot back to the inside and use his strength, 260 pounds, but a solid tackle by Brendan Ian Badejo.
So here we go on a 3rd and 4.
You talk about a big third down. Chargers converted their last one.
Stack receivers. Gates shifts and comes back to the same spot. Rivers looks. The quick slant. And Alexander couldn't hold on to it for the Chargers. It's 4th down. Mike Cyphers is coming on the field. Cary Williams helped break it up.
Yeah, Cary Williams couldn't have been closer to Alexander. He saw the slant coming, closes on it, watch his hands get in there. Both hands. His right hand reaches around, and that pokes the ball out. Or that would have been a Charger first down.
Denario Alexander. He's been with the team for a month. He was on the street. Came out for a tryout. They signed him up, and Alexander's become a big part of the offense, but could not bring that one in, and it forces the Chargers into a 4th down punt. Doss, the deep man, fair catch called for at the 11. That's where Baltimore will have it after the 39-yard kick from Cyprus. Tonight on CBS begins with a 60-minute safari and a chance to see the Lions of Africa like never before, followed by all new episodes of The Amazing Race, The Good Wife, and The Mentalist, only CBS.
Well, here's the target line for Justin Tucker. The ball gets to the 38-yard line. That would mean it'd be a 56-yard field goal, and that is his longest. He kicked that one against Philadelphia earlier.
Just going back to that 4th down play to Rice, the last time a 4th and 29 or more was converted in the NFL, 2001. The Bills, a 4th and 34. Rob Johnson to Peerless Price for 40 yards. Here's Rice, nothing there for him, no gain.
And I'm sure that ball was thrown 40 yards down the field and not just a little swing pass to Peerless Price.
So Ray Rice trying to help will the Baltimore Ravens to a win here. Held to no gain on that first down run. It's 2nd and 10 for the Ravens.
He talked about them being angry, and that was an angry, aggressive run after the catch by Rice that picked up that first down.
2nd down now for Baltimore. 10-10 to play in overtime. Flacco, that ball got hit at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. And it's Legit getting a piece. It's 3rd and 10 now for the Ravens.
Well, a couple of times now the Chargers have been able to block the passes of the 6'6". Joe Flacco. Number 94 is Legit. Watch that left hand go up. Perfect timing by Legit.
Third and long for Baltimore. Fans are in a frenzy here in San Diego. From the gun. Flacco. Pocket holds up. Flacco, strong throw to Bolden, and a first down to the 34-yard line. 23 yards on the pass and catch.
Yeah, he gets away from Sharice Wright here from the line of scrimmage. Rice comes up, tries to bump him. That's not a good idea against Bolden. Bolden's so big and strong, and enough quickness to get by Rice as he whiffs on the bump. Bolden makes a catch, huge first down for Baltimore.
And it's only his 2nd catch of the day. Baltimore will win it with a field goal or a touchdown. They score and it's over in OT. Running play for Rice. Rice veering to the outside, and Ray Rice out across the 45 for a 12-yard rip. Quentin Jammer with the hit for San Diego.
And they need about 20 yards now to get Tucker in comfortable range. Look at the effort by Rice. Didn't like the first hole over the guard, bounced it to the outside where Demario Williams finally makes the tackle, but great vision by Rice. Good decision making.
Combination for Rice, 93 on the ground, 60 through the air. It's a pitch to Rice. And Rice is held for no gain. Demario Williams is in there. They lost Donald Butler earlier to a groin injury. Andrew Gatchkar got injured as well for San Diego, so the veteran Demario Williams manning that spot. Give him a loss of 1 on the play to the 45-yard line. 2nd and 11 now for Baltimore.
Well, if the Chargers, you got to be thinking about Pitta and Bolden. Both will be working from the inside, where they'll be working against linebackers and safeties.
Shotgun, Flacco. Short screen pass. This time the Chargers are ready.
A great play by Sean Phillips. He saw that screen pass coming and stayed right with Rice and dragged him down from behind.
He has a gain of half a yard. They spot the football just short of the 46-yard line. And now a 3rd and 10 for the Ravens. We're down to 7:33 to go in overtime.
10 out of 20 converting 3rd downs. That's awesome for the Ravens this afternoon.
On 3rd down. Flacco hooks a pass underneath. It's Pitta trying to make a play, and he'll come up way short. Spikes and Wright combined for the Chargers.
Now the coverage deep in the secondary was great for San Diego. That forced Flacco to come out late to Pitta, and Pitta was just an outlet receiver. Here's Pitta in the backfield. He's just going to come out here, but watch down the field. Covered, covered, covered.
Sam Cook will punt it. We've got 6:37 to go in overtime. Chris Carr is waiting for it at the 10 for the Chargers. Big punt. Maybe too big.
Yep.
Into the end zone, back to the 20-yard line for San Diego. So a 52-yard punt, but a net of 32 for Cook. Chargers get the football back here in overtime, and this is what's coming up for San Diego. 2 more games against the AFC North, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. Then home for Carolina, at the Jets, wrapping things up with Oakland. So you look at their record and their schedule. They get a win here, and then fate's in their own hands, playing teams that are right bunched in that wild card race.
And their history is they play well in November and December.
First and 10 at the San Diego 20-yard line. Here's Rivers. Swing pass. Ronnie Brown. And he goes airborne out of bounds to the 26-yard line. So a gain of 6 through the air.
Yeah, we'll take a look at what we need to get Nick Novak in range. His target line, his career long is 53 yards. His longest, though, this year is just 47.
So Nick Novak just looking for an opportunity here. Target line right in that 35-yard line range. 2nd and 4 for San Diego. Running play. And Matthews nowhere to go. Ayan Badejo for Baltimore. It's a gain of 1. Sets up a 3rd and 3. We had a tie in the NFL just a couple of weeks ago with St. Louis and San Francisco.
I think that's ridiculous. Why don't we play to win the game, as one former New York Jet head coach once said.
Agreed. 3rd and 3 for the Chargers. Down to 5:22 to go in OT. Brown goes in motion. Trying to get Baltimore to jump. They don't. Shotgun. Rivers. Quick hitter. Incomplete. Alexander couldn't bring it in. Ayan Badejo, the linebacker there for the Ravens. It's 4th down.
From the left side of the screen, it's a slant route by Alexander, but Ayan Badejo just waiting for him there. He's made a couple of big plays here late in the game.
So 5:08 to go in overtime. 4th and 3. Norv Turner will punt it. Seifert's the punt. Jacoby Jones backpedals. Another huge kick for Seifert. Caught at the 9-yard line. And Jones is dumped there. Wow. Seifert, 63 yards at the perfect moment for the Chargers, right with the hit on special teams.
And it looked like Jones almost fumbled this ball. There's a tackle by Sharice Wright. He did lose control of that ball, but came down on top of it. Now this really becomes a test of wills. The Ravens were backed up in their own end of the field when they got that great effort out of Ray Rice on a 4th and 29 when he picked up 30 yards. And again, the target line there for Justin Tucker.
And Tucker has impressive range, the long of 56. First down, Baltimore at its own 11-yard line. We have under 5 minutes to play in overtime. Tied at 13. Flacco play fake. Flacco throws. Incomplete. Flags down. Torrey Smith matched up with veteran Quentin Jammer. And 2 flags on the play.
Pass interference. Defense, number 23, spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
He didn't want to hear anything from Quentin, did he? Take a look at it. Yeah, he's got it wrapped up pretty good. That's a good call. Jammer preventing the completion. 11th penalty in the ball game.
And an 11-yard gain on the penalty for Baltimore. We're down to 4:51 to play in overtime. Flacco looking to throw it. Flacco unloads. Deep ball. Smith knocked away. Antoine Cason. Outstanding defensive play by Cason of San Diego.
And that looked like a Seifert's punt there for a while. That ball thrown a mile by Flacco. Cason doing a good job of staying with Smith gets away with a little bit of an arm bar there, locates the ball. That could have been called pass interference. He had that left arm out there a long time before that ball came down.
2nd and 10 for the Ravens. The long trip out west for Baltimore. They came out on Friday to get adjusted to the West Coast time. And now a chance to end this thing in OT. It's Ray Rice trying to get him into the open field. Rice, stiff arm, and then angled out of bounds, short of the 30-yard line. Sharice Wright over there for the Chargers. 6-yard pickup, and now 3rd down.
Notice the clock has stopped. Inside the last 5 minutes, it will stay stopped once a runner goes out of bounds with the ball.
Flacco now over 300 yards passing, 27 of 46 with a touchdown. .437 to play in overtime. This is a 3rd and 4 now for the Ravens. Flacco gets rid of it. Wide open. It's Pinna. 1st down, Ravens to the 40-yard line. 12-yard pickup.
And now the Ravens need 25 yards to get Tucker in range. Here's Pitta. And again, it's a zone defense for San Diego. Linebackers dropping back into their zones. Demario Williams a little late reacting to the pass to Pitta.
So this drive continues for the Baltimore Ravens. 1st and 10 at the 40. 25 yards would be a 53-yard attempt for Tucker. Running play. Rice always keeps those legs moving. And Demario Williams with a stop. 3.5-yard gain.
Now here's the key play in the ball game. Ray Rice on 4th and 29. Catches the ball and needs to go. This is a superhuman effort here. Great block by Bolden. 30 yards on the play, just enough to pick up the 1st down to keep the drive alive on 4th and 29.
Ray Rice, 96 yards rushing today. He's got 67 yards receiving with 8 catches and a 2nd and 6 now for the Ravens. Come up on 3 minutes to go in overtime. Flacco fires. High throw is handled. Terrific grab by Das. And a 1st down into San Diego territory. That's 9 yards on the pass play. His first catch of the day.
At 6'2", he went up over Antoine Cason. This ball thrown perfectly by Flacco away from the coverage, and the coverage was really good by Cason.
So showing off their depth at wide receiver, Tandon Das in his 2nd year, 4th-round pick last year out of Indiana. Big grab for the Baltimore Ravens. Down to 2:40 remaining in overtime. Flacco, pump. Flacco! Incomplete. He got hit just as he released the football as Johnson and Garay got to the quarterback.
Johnson got a sack earlier in the game. Here's Johnson right up here going around Pitta. And just an instant late, or they might have caused a fumble. Garay gets him from the front, and Flacco just gets rid of it. Saved his possession.
One more 1st down, and they're going to be in field goal range. Baltimore working with a 2nd and 10 now. 2:32 to go in OT.
Timeout, Baltimore.
So one of their 2 timeouts used here in overtime. 2:32 to go in this extra session. Don't forget, tonight on CBS begins with a 60-minute safari and a chance to see the Lions of Africa like never before, followed by all new episodes of The Amazing Race, The Good Wife, and The Mentalist, only CBS. So Justin Tucker, the rookie out of Austin, Texas, hoping to get an attempt here to end this game in overtime and send the Ravens back east with a victory and a 9-2 record. And now the Chargers, they look at the clock. Obviously, we know what happens if time runs out at the end of overtime, and it's tied.
Chargers cannot afford a tie. Not with their record.
2nd and 10 for Baltimore. Flacco working exclusively from the gun. Underneath. Broken up. Bolden with Sharice Wright making the play.
Yeah, that time Sharice Wright did not try to bump Bolden at the line of scrimmage. He used his speed to react to the ball, and perfect timing to knock this one away with his left hand.
And it's 3rd and 10 for Baltimore. 2:27 to go. Flacco rifles sideline. Oh, what a grab! Torrey Smith hauls it in a matchup with Jammer. And Smith has been doing that all day long for the Ravens.
Well, the ball is thrown perfectly by Flacco. The coverage is pretty good by Quentin Jammer. He never located the ball. Well, Torrey Smith sure did, but he had possession all the way through the catch.
They will take a look, but boy, this looks clean.
From every angle, but this one may show it's the best.
He's got it tucked away with that left arm.
Yeah, he does.
Joe Flacco now has 356 yards through the air. And Steratore is going to take a look. Torrey Smith, 7 catches, 144 yards, and most important right now, he just put them in field goal range for Justin Tucker.
You know, at 3rd and 10 and you go for the bomb. That shows you the confidence they have in Flacco's arm. But the Ravens in this second half on 3rd down have just been outstanding. And we're not even talking about the 4th down play made by Ray Rice. Eight of 13 converting 3rd downs in the second half for the Ravens. Yeah, if you're John Harbaugh now, you just ask your kicker, where do you want the ball placed for your game-winning field goal?
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The runner possessed the ball all the way through the process. The catch is down. 1st and 10, Baltimore.
Right now, they're looking at a 34-yard field goal attempt.
And most kickers don't like the ball on the hash mark on this side. They like to aim at the far post. So watch, they'll move this ball to the middle of the field or to the left hash mark.
We hit the 2-minute warning here in overtime. For John Harbaugh and company, a chance to move to 9-2, remain 1 game behind the Houston Texans for the #1 seed in the AFC. For San Diego, a loss, and they're probably done in the wild card picture.
Yeah, you would think, although that would give them 7 losses, they'd have to string together 5 straight wins to have a decent shot at 9-7. That was would have been good enough to win the AFC West last year, but this guy named Peyton Manning has taken control of the AFC West this year. Chargers have no shot at that AFC West title.
San Diego just did not produce a lot of offense in the second half. A number of 3-and-outs. And ultimately, they left that crack open for Baltimore to rally.
And in talking to Harbaugh, he was so confident that his team could finish, that they could be physical enough throughout the ball game, wear the Chargers down. And you can see that the pass protection for Flacco in the 4th quarter and in this overtime has been perfect. Chargers haven't been able to get to him, and they paid the price.
San Diego, 111 total yards in the second half, which includes overtime. So 2 minutes left in OT, and Flacco just trying to get to the middle of the field to set things up for the rookie. San Diego has called a timeout with 1:57 remaining.
This brings up an interesting situation for Baltimore. They wanted to ensure that San Diego wouldn't have any timeouts. They could run one more play and still have the ball in the same position on the field.
Yeah, looks like that's what they're going to do.
Yep.
They lost a yard on the previous play, so now it's a 36-yard field goal for Tucker. We'll take another knee. And San Diego uses its final timeout with 1:54 to go. If Tucker were to miss, San Diego would be operating with no timeouts. While a tie is not something you look for on either side, Baltimore can withstand the tie.
Yeah.
San Diego cannot.
Yeah, this interesting if you're go into the mind of a kicker, and I don't know why you would want to, but seeing your coach call at times, running one more play, when you're all ready to go out there and kick the game winner, that could mess with a young man's mind.
So you are confirming the perception that kickers are a little different.
Well, here they go. They're going to run another play and make it 4th down when they're going to take more time off the clock.
So they'll let time dip down here.
This is really great clock management by John Harbaugh and the Ravens.
Justin Tucker just had a big smile. Somebody must have said something to him as he was making his way towards his practice area. Did kick the game winner against New England. And now the timeout is used. So
you like to see that field goal on 3rd down in case there's a bad snap. Now, if there is a bad snap and the Ravens can't get it off, they don't get the winner.
That's the conventional wisdom. John Harbaugh will go with this theory, and he trusts his rookie kicker, Justin Tucker. Morgan Cox will snap it. Sam Cook, the punter, will hold it. Ravens looking for a 38-yard field goal here in San Diego. In overtime. The rookie Justin Tucker trying to end it right here. From 38 yards away, Tucker sweeps the leg, and he knocks it through. The Ravens win. Somehow Baltimore finds a way. Ray Rice with one of the plays of the year in the 4th quarter to keep the drive alive, to get the game-tying field goal, and then in overtime, Tucker puts an end to it. 16-13. Baltimore improves to 9-2. The Chargers now 4-7. They've lost 6 of their last 7 games. A victory for John Harbaugh and company. And a kiss as well for Norv Turner. That's the kind of season it's been.
Yeah, but as you said, Ian, the Chargers did absolutely nothing in the second half. You got to give the Ravens defense a lot of credit. Harbaugh said they like to win games in a variety of ways. That is what you might call a variety of ways. Ray Rice with an incredible play to give them the victory.
Final score at Qualcomm: Baltimore 16, San Diego 13 in overtime. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes, followed by The Amazing Race, The Good Wife, and The Mentalist. For Dan Fouts, our entire crew, this is Ian Eagle. So long from San Diego. You've been watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 47.